We will be joined by a handful of great guests on the program. Justin Dunk will join us from 3 Down Nation. We'll talk some CFL football. Of course, Cody Fajardo getting the start tomorrow night in Saskatchewan when the Elks take on the Riders. That'll get going just after 7 o'clock. Trey Ford will be on the bench. Number 2 on the depth chart. We'll see if he gets any game action. Maybe a script in there, a couple of series. We shall see what happens. It's also Sherbrooke Liquor's Thirsty Thursday. So we'll demo something. I don't know exactly what, but we'll find out. The weekend's coming up here. Some things you might want to pick up from Sherbrooke in one of their 2 Edmonton locations. Terry Ryan will join us for a segment. A tough day for TR. He lost all the information in his phone. If you've been there, it's quite the inconvenience. You lose all your contacts, all your things of that sort, emails. We'll talk to TR, see how he's doing. I think he's going to join us from a soccer field out in Newfoundland. Zach Pearson will join us from Bear Report as we continue our look around the NFL. Talk some Chicago Bears, new head coach, Caleb Williams in year 2. They got a new weapon on the offensive side of the football and a very tough division. We'll see how that goes for the Chicago Bears. Zach Lang from Oilers Nation will be by. We'll talk about the Oilers offseason, get his thoughts on that. Also take a look at the Blue Jays, maybe the Elks, and Zach Lang also actually a Chicago Bears fan. So we'll see, depending on what Zach Pearson tells us, what Zach Lang thinks. And a spec will be by as well for the spec report at 5 o'clock. Also 5 questions with Declan Kruger. You can always reach us, 1-833-401-1440 at the eWell inbox. Score with your power play partners at eWell. Get all your electrical needs at ewell.ca with 24/7 ordering and shipping in Edmonton and across Alberta. You can always reach me via the old email, connor@sports1440.ca. Big news of the day, of course, and we'll get into Elks. Talk about the sad passing of Hulk Hogan at the age of 71. Chuck Mangione, Jazz legend, one of the stars of King of the Hill, also passing away. But we do have to talk about the 2018 Canadian World Junior team that was accused of sexual assault. In case you missed it, they were all found not guilty. That's Dylan Dubé, Cal Foote, Alex Formanton, and Carter Hart, Michael McLeod as well, all announced today to be not guilty. Obviously, these charges go back a few years, all members of a World Junior team from 2018, and it's already been discussed on this station for hours. Not guilty now. The players will try to move on with their lives, and we'll see what happens. There's a few guys out there that hockey fans are saying, hey, maybe they get another look in the NHL. For me, it comes down to this, do you want this attention on your squad? Do you want to bring this into the room? And Carter Hart has been the one that a lot of Oilers fans have mentioned because the team does need help goaltending. Going back and just looking at their statistics from their career, Carter Hart and Stuart Skinner actually have the same save percentage, with Stuart Skinner's goals against average being a little lower than Carter Hart. So the number's a little bit better for the goaltender already in the Oilers system. The distraction that would come along with it, that's not going to go away. And you have to factor, if this were to happen, some Oilers fans do want it to happen, it is distraction. I mean, it's going to be something that every member of the Oilers leadership group would have to answer to throughout the season. And, eventually it might go away, but it still might be something that comes up. And is it worth it? Is that something that they want to bring into the organization? We have the longest history with the Edmonton Oilers and doing those sorts of things, bringing in players, not to this extent though. Evander Kane had some things, Corey Perry, Cassian, you can go back to Craig McTavish, who, did his time and then signed with the Edmonton Oilers. This has been one of the biggest news stories in our country for a while now. And I just don't know if any of these players will make their way back to the NHL. They could. So it only takes one team, right, to give them a second chance. And hey, we all deserve a second chance in life. Nobody's perfect. But at the highest level at the NHL, I am curious if teams will look to bring that in. I think these guys are all going to play hockey. I have almost no doubt in my mind. They're all under 30, between like 27 and 30. Someone's going to give them a shot, whether it is in Europe or, KHL, maybe an NHL team feels that one of these guys. I mean, Dylan Dubé, a couple 18-goal seasons. But me personally, I don't know if I do it. And we'll talk about it from an Edmonton Oilers perspective. When, are any of these players good enough that you're willing to bring on everything that's going to come along with it? I don't know. Some people might say that Carter Hart was. You go back 4 or 5 years. I know there's a lot of hopes for him to be a potential as a good young player. Did he peak? Did he top out? I don't know. We'll have to, see what the cards hold going forward. But let us know. 1-833-401-1440. Where do you stand on this one? A lot of people already getting the text in here. And of course, if you coming to Gregor, Frithie says, Gregor, I really hope you're going to shut down the Carter Hart talk today. The man does not deserve to be in the NHL, even with the not guilty verdict. It still disgusts me that so many men have zero care for the acts against EM and for the acts against women every day. The deep-rooted misogyny with the sport of hockey and men in general needs to change. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's just a hockey thing. It's a society thing. It happens in every aspect of life. It doesn't have to be just sport or just hockey. It happens all over the place. And I agree, Frithie, it needs to change. You know, we got to be better as a society, not just with hockey. But Gregor had put it out there earlier that the Edmonton Oilers, you know, were not going to approach Carter Hart and bring him in. You know, maybe another team does. And, you know, if you are one of these 5 players, would you want to sign in an Edmonton or a market like Edmonton? You know, you're going to be under scrutiny no matter where you go. You're very recognizable. I'm curious if that would play a factor into it, where, hey, maybe you're going to go to a team where you're less noticeable. You're just a guy when you leave the rink. If they are given that opportunity to go back. How long was Bowman's distraction killing someone? How about that for Mac T? Maybe a month, and a couple make people forget ASAP. But why Carter Hart's numbers statistically in his career are not better than Stu Skinner. Now maybe we can dive deep and talk about you know, big saves and crucial points of the game, but the statistics will tell you that Carter Hart is not a better goaltender than Stuart Skinner. Stuart Skinner's helped. He's been a part of this team that has got them to 2 consecutive Stanley Cup finals. They haven't won. You know, the more expensive goaltender was better in those big moments. I understand that. And the Oilers, I'm not opposed to, you know, making some changes at the goaltender position. But a guy who hasn't played in a couple of years, be 28, you know, relatively young, I guess, supposed for a goaltender especially. Is that the difference? Is that going to take this team over the top? Wasn't so great in Philly. So we'll see. D-Black, I don't know if that necessarily makes it happen. And you're right, though. Bowman, he did his time, admitted guilt, worked on himself, worked on the situation, and was hired when he was reinstated by the NHL. Craig McTavish, I don't know. That was before my time. I know it happened, but I don't know how long the distraction was for. Different time as well, though. Going back a long way, pre-social media. Might linger around just a little bit more. Nix is just tuning in. Any thoughts on a PTO for Hart? See, I don't know for me. It's a no for me. I'm not an NHL general manager, so you know, it's just a no for me. If a team were to do it, you wouldn't hear me on my soapbox condemning them. I wouldn't be losing my mind that it happened. But me personally, no, I'd be okay. I would rather keep it with Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard. But I'm still not looking away from adding another goaltender. Just for me, Carter Hart's not the guy. Tyler says, at 1-833-401-1440, I'm not saying that the Oilers need any one of those players, but if they were found guilty, they would have had no choice but to do time, take the punishment. But now they are found innocent and the victim not credible. Why should these guys not have their jobs back? I mean, we talked about it in Fantasy Frenzy, and I'll say, like, some jobs, some professions, I think just you're held to a higher standard. An elected official, police officer, things of that nature. To play in the NHL, it's not a right. It is certainly a privilege. And these teams don't have to bring you in. You could be a distraction, right? Like, you have to realize that if this team signs, any team signs them, their leader's going to be asked about it in the media. It's going to be a bit of a distraction. And would it go away? Yeah, eventually I think it would. But you might alienate some of your fan base. You might not be sending the best message. And I think it would turn people away. Trevor Bauer, Major League Baseball. Similar accusations, was found not guilty. No one touched him. This guy was a Cy Young winner. He was an all-star. He was a better baseball player in his profession than these guys are hockey players. And Major League Baseball essentially said no. And, you know, from what people say, maybe not the best guy, maybe not the most beloved in the clubhouse. But if Major League Baseball has turned their back, or not turn their back, close the door on a return for him so far, I just think that the NHL might do the same and just say, you know what, we don't know if we want that distraction. And I've been long in this conversation about distractions. Like when Tim Tebow was around, I used to say, why would you bring him in? He's just a distraction. And is the juice worth the squeeze? You're not going to get a great player from it. So why would a team bring him in? Remember when he signed with the New York Jets? And every time Mark Sanchez threw a bad ball, Tebow chants started? Why are you bringing that in? Drew says, sick and tired of hearing about bringing in a goalie, whether it be Hart or whoever. Nobody can actually win 100%. Certainly say that a different goalie would have made a difference. It might, but that's also not a guarantee. Team Dean says they weren't declared innocent. There was inconsistent evidence. Big difference, Team Dean. I was actually on a jury once, and I can't get into too much detail, I don't believe. But I will say, someone in the jury or the trial that I was in was found innocent by law. They were totally guilty. But by law, there was one little, a good lawyer helped out, and the person actually got off. So it just yeah.
Well, again, though, that's like the issue of not guilty versus innocent. Were they truly found innocent, or were they found not guilty?
Yeah. Well, and then, where you got a lot of people texting in, and if you're not guilty, are you innocent? And not all the time. Judge Croce had said that EM was not found to be credible or reliable. The Crown cannot meet the onus of any counts before me, adding that I have found actual consent not vitiated by fear. Yeah, I mean, and we'll go back. Like, this is a hot topic issue. People are passionate about it, and I'm certainly not someone who wants to say, this should cost these guys their career. I don't believe that. I think they should still have the opportunity to, go on with their lives and hopefully learn from this. But I just don't know if it's the NHL. There's other places that would, I'm sure, gladly take these guys on their squads, and it's probably across the pond. But I don't think, if it's me, I wouldn't be doing it in the NHL. Mike said, I'm not saying I would take Carter Hart, but Hart did play on a bad team in Philly. Having the same numbers as Skinner doesn't make Skinner better. Yeah, and I mean, high danger opportunities. I mean, we could look at all that sort of thing. But when it comes down to it, save percentage, it's the shots that you face. And there's similar numbers. It's not like it's automatically a massive upgrade. We'll take your text here. Keep them rolling in here. 1-833-401-1440. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, and Josh Fenwick with you here. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Lots to get to on the program, and we'll keep this discussion going. We're going to talk to Mark Spector later on in the program. Zach Lang of Oilers Nation will be by. We've got Zach Pearson from Bear Report. We'll continue our look around the NFL. TR will join us from Newfoundland. We've got Sherbrooke Liquor's Thirsty Thursday. But up next, we'll talk a little CFL. We kind of bypassed it in the opening segment. Of course, Trey Ford goes from starter to number 2 on the depth chart. It's going to be Cody Fajardo when the Elks take on the Rough Riders tomorrow night out in Saskatchewan now and gets going at 7 o'clock. We'll get to that next. Justin Dunk. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
The Discover Days sales event has been extended at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $7,500. Final month extended. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 from 0.49% and save $4,000. Save up to $7,500 on a 2025 demo XC40. Come and discover the deals now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy, designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
McDonald's sundaes and snack-size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats, like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take one for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Imagine being the difference in a young person's life. At Big Brothers Big Sisters, we create life-changing friendships. Visit bigbrothersbigsisters.ca today to donate or volunteer. Your involvement can shape a future.
Easy airport parking? Choose Park to Go. Edmonton's top-rated provider on Google. Book self-park or valet and save up to 30% with promo code RADIO. Visit park2go.ca. That's RADIO.
Photographers, start your cameras. It's time for Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest. Enter your hometown snapshot and show us what makes your community amazing. Whether it's a view from the farm, a stroll down Main Street, or a weekend at the rodeo, we're looking for snapshots that show off your rural Alberta hometown. Share your photo before September 2nd for a chance to win cash prizes or a donation to your favorite community group. Learn more via Vision's Facebook page or go to whatsyourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
And Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Also, Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. Currently in the chat room, having a conversation with Oilers Nation. If you're there, fire back some talking points to us. So hit that like button as well. We appreciate everybody watching on YouTube. Connor Halley sitting in for Jason Gregor. He's got an event today, but he will be back tomorrow to wrap up the weekend. Josh Fenwick keeping us going on YouTube. We got Declan Kruger on the ones and twos, playing a little sexy back. Declan kind of gave me flashbacks. I thought Rashog might be joining us here.
That's what I thought as well, actually. That's kind of what I was going for. But I think today for every guest, I'll play a song where the first name equates. I think that's the goal today.
Well, a very good lead-in. Justin Duncan to join us from 3 Down Nation. This will be the CFL report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They are hiring HVAC installers and plumbers. Starting bonus to the right candidates. Strong benefits, RRSP matching, tuition reimbursement. Apply today at legacyheating.ca. As you mentioned, Justin Timberlake, we got Justin Dunk joining us from 3 Down Nation. Justin, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Doing well, fellas. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, appreciate you joining us on the show today. And we're going to take a look around the CFL later on in the conversation. But of course, huge news out of Edmonton today with the depth chart being released. Trey Ford, not the starting quarterback of the Green and Gold. It's going to be Cody Fajardo when the Elks take on the 5-1 Rough Riders tomorrow out in Saskatchewan. What were your thoughts on the news this morning?
I wasn't surprised by it because I had some people around the league tell me that they thought it was going to be Cody Fajardo, and indeed that's who it is. But guys, this is a major decision for this organization to make just 5 games into the season. And it wasn't that long ago that they seemingly had anointed Trey Ford the franchise quarterback. So there's all kinds of ways that we can break this down here. I do think in the short term, I can understand Mark Killam, Ed Hervey, Larry Thompson, because I'm sure he had some sort of a say in this, deciding to make this change because you want to win football games. But you guys know, being on the ground there, the fans wanted to see Trey Ford. And I don't think he was the lone reason for this team having a subpar start to the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it would have required almost near perfection in some games to pick up a win because the defense was just such a liability and giving up big plays. It just hasn't been a good start anywhere for the Edmonton Elks so far this season. So with bringing in Cody Fajardo, what changes do you expect to see from this Elks offense?
You know, I would expect to see a higher completion percentage, and some people might think that it's a little bit wild, but Cody Fajardo is actually first all-time in CFL history in terms of completion percentage. And he's going against Trevor Harris this week, who is number 2. But I think Cody Fajardo gives you a better chance to be more consistent on offense. He's certainly not as dynamic and doesn't sustain drives like Trey Ford can in terms of extending the play, but I think he can do just that. What I said, he sustains drives a little more consistently. He's willing to, take that check down throw, knows the offenses inside and out. Maybe doesn't have that deep ball prowess, although I think he can get down the field. Guys in Montreal, Austin Mack and his receivers there, Tyson Philpott, used to clown him about how he kind of played that intermediate to check down game, more than anything else. But that's part of the reason his completion percentage is so high. And that the offense, especially when he was in Montreal, was able to be so productive and stay on the field and not play necessarily ball control, but be able to hold the football, possess the football, which was a major issue in the Elks' loss when Trey Ford last played. He went 4 for 12 for 34 yards, just couldn't stay on the field. Now, the defense has not been great, but I think there's a combination of things here working towards this decision.
We are joined by Justin Dunk from 3 Down Nation, taking a look around the CFL. And I guess it's been kind of a turbulent start for Mark Killam here in Edmonton. You obviously had J.C. Sherrod as a new coordinator, Aaron Grimes on the defensive side in the secondary, first time as the full-time secondary coach. What have you made of the coaching staff so far?
I think those are some great points, especially on the defensive side of the football, is you have some young people there. I'm not saying that they don't know the game well, but you're going against experienced coordinators and head coaches. For example, like Buck Pierce with the Lions has absolutely shredded that defense. Helps that you have Nathan Rourke quarterback, but when they've gone against the Elks, that's a veteran offensive play caller in this league. So you're going to take your lumps sometimes here and there as a young coach. And I think that's come fast and furious, in particular for J.C. Sherrod. When you just look at the sheer defensive numbers, giving up 34 points per game in the Canadian Football League in this era is not going to win you many football games. And I think that's actually where the majority of the issues lie on this football team. I think the offense has to help them out by staying on the field a little bit longer, especially, as a reference with Trey Ford last week and going 4 for 12. We have seen flashes from the offense. We have seen some ability to possess the football, but the defense has given up too many big plays, and they haven't gotten after the passer, I think, as consistently as they would have envisioned, bringing in Jake Serezin and Alex Brinkman and having Jonathan Kongbo off the edge and Robbie Williams on the other side. So to me, I think that this defense has to be much better if this team wants to get a win in Saskatchewan and beyond, try to get back in the playoff mix.
Down a couple starters in the secondary as well. It's going to be tough tomorrow night in Saskatchewan. Now, just on the flip side, the Riders team playing some good football this season. Trevor Harris coming off a very good week against the BC Lions. We're through for just under 400 yards. So I would imagine we're going to see an air attack once again. But what can Elks fans expect from this Rough Riders team?
The Riders have been at their best when they've been balanced. AJ Ouellette at one point was leading the league in rushing, went on a 3-game tear there. And then against Calgary, he ran into a brick wall, 6 carries for 9 yards. And Trevor Harris has thrown the football very well. He's been ultra efficient, I would say, in this offense. And I'm not saying that he can't win games by himself, because he's shown that in the past. But this offense is at its best when it's balanced with AJ Ouellette. So if the Riders get Ouellette going early, that's going to lead to trouble for the Elks. I think the Elks need to focus on shutting down that run and trying to make this offense one-dimensional and getting after the quarterback with Robbie Smith and the rest of that defensive line. Calgary showed the blueprint I think, to try to at least slow down this offense, even though Trevor Harris threw for over 300 yards in the second half, is you've really got to contain that run game and be able to do it with the majority of just the 4 guys up front stuffing the run and getting after the passer. Yes, you're going to have some help from your linebackers if you got 5 or 6 in the box, one or 2 linebackers, perhaps plus your nickel. But that was really the way that Calgary was able to take apart the Riders. Now, I think that game was even closer than the 24-10 score appeared to make it. It seemed like it was a little more in the Stampeders' favor. But I think that's how you slow down this Rider offense.
Now, you do have the Stampeders playing tonight, taking on the Montreal Alouettes. It's Justin Dunk from 3 Down Nation joining us here. That one's going to get going at 7 o'clock Mountain Time. Montreal, good team, but the Stamps, I mean, from what we saw last year, the turnaround's been fantastic. And Vernon Adams Jr., what a good decision to bring him in as the starting quarterback.
It was certainly a great decision. And, I don't think we've seen the best ball out of him in this Dave Dickinson offense. Dedrick Mills has been really good running the rock over there, and they've done this start by and large part without Reggie Begelton, who's a legit number 1 receiver over there. We've seen some great play from Jalen Philpott, but Damian Alford has been unbelievable as a rookie and a first overall pick, a rare first overall pick in the CFL that comes in and actually produces right away. We need more of those in this league to make people pay attention to the CFL draft, but that's a story for another day. And Vernon Adams Jr., I think, has infused a new energy around this football team. And he's given this offense another ability there to extend plays with his legs and run sometimes, which Jake Mayer, to be quite honest, just didn't have. So this offense looks much more dynamic with Vernon Adams Jr. pulling the trigger.
Yeah, it's been something tonight. What are you expecting to go down tonight in this game? Are you taking the Stampeders to keep it going?
Yeah, I'd be leaning that way simply because I don't think I can trust McLeod Bethel-Thompson until we see him play better. He has not played very well when he's filled in for the injured Davis Alexander. So if McLeod Bethel-Thompson can play better and the Owls commit to the run game, even just a little bit more than they have since MBT has been in this offense, then I think the Owls potentially have a chance on the road. But Calgary's been so stout, especially up front in the box. That front 4 has been very good. And the guy you need to pay attention to is Jalen Hutchings. I've had people tell me in the league that this guy is nearly unblockable, that he has been dynamic against the run, physical against the run, and has been able to disrupt the passer consistently. That is a young player quickly on the rise in the CFL.
Justin Dunk, 3 Down Nation, joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. You can get your thoughts into 1-833-401-1440. Now, Justin, I want to go out east, and we're not going to see in action until Sunday, but Bo Levi Mitchell getting into the top 10 all-time passing, surpassing Tracy Ham. He's turned back the clock, and he's looking really good this year. 12 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions.
He looks great, man, and he's in his second year in this Scott Milanovic offense. We saw what he did last year, throwing for over 5,000 yards, even though he was benched, partway through that season, came back strong, and has continued that in his second year with Milanovic. We've seen the deep ball featured, and I think most importantly, we've seen Kenny Lawler featured consistently down the field, getting the football, scheming him to get him open. We saw that in Winnipeg. We saw him have a 1,000-yard season in Winnipeg, actually in that shortened season in 2021 coming out of the coronavirus pandemic. But I think this is Kenny Lawler even going to another level, and the credit has to be given to him, yes, but also to Milanovic for helping scheme to get him open, for Lawler making plays in double coverage, sometimes, dare I say, 3 defenders, at least in his area, and the way that Bo Levi Mitchell has put the football on the money with Lawler, plus also Lawler making some ultra-athletic plays. So that's been a very fun offense to watch.
Would Bo Levi be your top runner? I mean, we're a third of the way into the season, lots of football left, but right now for MOP?
He'd be right there, but I have Kenny Lawler just a notch above because of what he's doing. Over 100 yards a game receiving. He's over a touchdown per game receiving. Like, this guy, I think, has helped Bo Levi Mitchell go to another level in this offense. We're kind of splitting hairs here. It's like, back in the day when you would talk about Doug Flutie or Alan Pitts, like it's hard to decide between the two, right? I think that's kind of the comparison that comes to the mind for me. But right now, I would lean Kenny Lawler. That said, I think Bo Levi Mitchell is certainly squarely in that MOP discussion.
Now, Justin, just looking around the league right now, some teams that maybe not quite living up to their expectations. Has there been a team that stood out to you that has been a bit of a disappointment early on in the season?
I think, to me, there's two easy ones there. It's Ottawa Redblacks in the East and the Edmonton Elks in the West. We talked a lot about Edmonton already, so I'll focus on Ottawa here, who are 1-5, tied with the Toronto Argonauts for last place in the East Division. Yes, Drew Brown has been hurt, but every team in this league knows they at least have to have a legitimate backup quarterback, because your starter's probably not going to be healthy for all 18 regular season games the way that we're playing football now in this league. So Ottawa, I thought, had a lot of firepower on offense. They got William Stanback there, but that doesn't seem to jive with what Tommy Condell wants to do on offense, which is just essentially throw the football until it loses air, essentially, and not utilize Stanback and be a balanced offense. And I don't think that necessarily helps the defense, which has had some injuries back there. So to me, the biggest disappointment so far is Ottawa.
Justin, thanks so much for doing this today. I really appreciate you coming on this show. We'll have to do it again.
Sounds good, man. Anytime.
There you go. That is Justin Dunk of 3 Down Nation joining us. CFL Report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, hiring HVAC installers and plumbers. Starting bonus to the right candidates. Strong benefits, RRSP matching, tuition reimbursement. You can apply today at legacyheating.ca. Should be another fun week in the CFL. Of course, Montreal, Calgary kick it off tonight. In Calgary, it's a 7 o'clock start. Tomorrow at 7, you got the Rough Riders hosting your Edmonton Elks. If you want to come watch that one down at First Round with me, we got the watch party getting going. We'll be down there all night long, giving away prizes, food and drink specials, First Round downtown. And then on Saturday, the Boatmen hosting the Bombers. 5 o'clock, and then Sunday, BC taking on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Should be a great weekend in the CFL as we approach Labor Day and the importance continuing to rise. Declan Kruger, you're going to be heading down to Saskatchewan tomorrow, making the drive. You looking forward to that one? You've been to a game out there in Riderville before. Hey?
Yeah, of course. Really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be excellent. I don't think it's any secret. My allegiance is to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but looking forward to getting down. I think it's gonna be a great time.
Makes you very impartial when it comes to Elks Nation.
This is the thing, right? Of course, this is the thing. Like, I put my big Jay Jarno hat on. I'm Tucker Carlson interviewing Ted Cruz anytime I'm behind the mic. Like, nothing but objectivity and pure journalistic integrity.
Well,
hopefully it gets me far.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it probably will. 1-833-414-1440. That is the text line. Connor Halley with you here, sitting in for Jason Gregor. He will be back tomorrow. Lots to get to still on the program. Of course, Speck will be by. We'll talk some Oilers and Blue Jays with Zach Ling from Oilers Nation. Also, we will be doing a little Chicago Bears talk. It should be an interesting season for the Bears. Tough division. You got the Packers, Lions in there, as well as the Minnesota Vikings. But the Bears, they got the potential. Some offensive weapons, a new coach, their star young quarterback. We'll get to that later on with Zach Pearson from Bear Report. But coming up next, we'll be joined by David Owens from Sherbrooke Liquor. He's got the drinks out in front of me. We'll be sampling the Newfoundland Distillery Company. Oh, Terry Ryan's going to be wishing he could have had some of that. Maybe he will. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable, call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99 $7.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
If you're looking for the ultimate off-road adventure, you'll find it in a Jeep Wrangler. And if you're looking for the ultimate financing deal on a Wrangler, you'll find it at St. Albert Dodge. Right now, St. Albert Dodge is offering 0% financing for up to 72 months OAC on their full selection of 2025 Jeep Wranglers. And it's a great selection. Sport, Willys, Sahara, and Rubicon, plus all the new colors, all on the lot ready to go at 0%. Come see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. TNA Wrestling makes its explosive debut at the Expo Center on Friday, September 26th and Saturday, September 27th for back-to-back nights. Buy your tickets online today. Learn more about what's happening at the Expo Center by visiting the calendar of events online at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
Tee off to win with Cattail Crossing's $10,000 hole-in-one challenge, powered by Sports 1440, Canada's first ever aqua range event. Just walk up, grab some golf balls, and start swinging. Or book a VIP bay today. Win $10,000 with a hole-in-one, plus great secondary hole and leaderboard prizes. Closest to the pin and monthly winners will battle for a $50,000 grand prize. The hole-in-one challenge, open Thursday to Sunday, noon till 8 through August. Weather permitting, cattailcrossing.ca.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Remaining cyber safe is critical. Check in with your loved ones. Chat to your kids about online safety. Warn elders about scams. Let's ensure everyone's secure in this interconnected world. Learn more at getcybersafe.gc.ca. Remember, being informed is the first line of defense.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
In 40, also Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Make sure you get in that comment section. Vivek, Crayon, to see a few other guys in there. Of course, I guess today it's me and Josh Fenwick talking back and forth on the YouTube chat. But Declan Kruger might get involved as well. He's keeping us on track on the board. Lots to get to still on the show. Keep the text rolling in 1-833-401-1440. And we mentioned it, Jason Gregor Show, as always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Use promo code Gregor50. Get a $50 free play. Remember, use your game sense. Right now, it's Thursday, 2:40. That means Thursday brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best selection of wine, spirits, beers, and non-alcoholic drinks. 2 locations, Southside on 50th Street and 92nd Ave, and the OG store, St. Albert Trail and 118th. David Owens joins us as per usual. David, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. Usually I'm on the other side watching.
That's
you guys
right.
enjoy this, and now I'm right here in the action. Before we get into it, you're down in Chicago for a week. How was that?
It was fantastic. Yeah, the weather was beautiful. The Cubs were winning. Just the Sox were winning.
Yeah,
I think the Sox had two games in a row. They put 10 runs in, so I don't know what's going on there, but all my Sox friends down there were stoked. So.
I mean, after last year, can't get much worse, right? So they're probably pretty happy about it.
That's right. They're probably going to be buyers, right?
Well, I mean, hey, let's hope so. Are you a Jays guy?
A little bit of the Jays. A little bit the Jays. I didn't like the Bautista era.
Yeah,
and so they kind of threw me off there, but I'm coming back.
I don't know if you saw this story, the Bautista era. I mean, I'm going to think immediately to the bat flip.
Yes,
there was a little leaguer who did a bat flip in his game, got suspended for 1 game, and now he misses the championship game.
Wow.
Because you can't do that sort of thing.
Can't do that sort of thing.
Even though Little League they've shown it in like highlight packages, catfish.
Yeah.
But anyways, what do we got here? What are we sampling?
Crazy. So we have got a big lineup for you. So I know Steven was in last week, and we had an open house at our original location last week. So we brought a lot of things. Well, we've got an open house this Saturday at our 50th Street location. And so you are the lucky guy that gets to try a whole bunch of stuff that a small portion of what will be sampled there on Saturday from 1 till 4 on 50th Street there. So the first one we got here is actually a Tofino brewery. It's just it's their cerveza. It's a Mexican style lager. And this is exclusive to us here in Northern Alberta. So you will not find that anywhere except for at Sherbrooke Liquor. So it's just a nice, simple, easy drinking Mexican style lager. Crushable on a hot day like today.
Yeah.
Nice and easy. You know, if you wanted to, put in, you like making enchiladas or things like that, it's going to be perfect for those kinds of things.
Kind of light.
Bulldog style and just
Easy
light
drinking.
and easy. Yeah. A lot of Mexican lagers, they put corn in to sort of sweeten it up a little bit. And this one uses rice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why the change? Just to be different?
Just to switch it up a bit, be a little bit different. Yeah. Experimental.
Right.
Tofino's been really great over the years of really evolving their style too. They take a lot of, they listen to a lot of their customers and their people out there and really adjust and so on. They've been a fantastic brewery for a long time on the coast.
All right. Yeah. That was quite nice.
Yeah.
But you could probably have a few of those on a nice summer.
You could have a few. Yeah. And I think it's only like 4% or something like that too. So it's just nice, light, easy.
All right. Now, what happens at the open house? People can just come in, kind of
People can
walk
come
around,
in.
have a drink?
We've got some agents from a variety of different places, and they can just come walk on in. We're gonna have about three different stations set up there, I think.
Yeah.
That'll sort of rotate through the day, and each station will have a whole bunch of different beverages there that they can try out and purchase if they like. They find something they want, and if they just want to come and hang out and check out our location there the first time, do so.
That's what I like about having you guys on, because, you have the drinks. It's great. Sometimes we're lucky enough to take some home, but you also get the information. Like the things I learned about sake from Steve.
Amazing. Yeah, and he is an absolute amazing person for the sake.
Oh, yeah. So what do we have next here?
So next we're actually going to go non-alc for our next little spot here. And so this is from Sweden, actually. It's a non-alc. So this is a Peterson and Monte sparkling green tea and herbal beverage. So I actually haven't tried this. You and I are full on guinea pigs for this right now. I couldn't tell you what it's like, but this should be sort of fresh rhubarb, sort of a crisp green apple, green tea aromas to it. Right. Oh yeah.
I feel healthier drinking this. Like it's like it doesn't even seem like it would be an alcoholic beverage, even though it's an NA.
Yep.
And you guys have a great selection of non-alcoholic beverages.
That's
This is quite nice. Actually.
Super nice and refreshing, isn't it? Yeah. You can pour that over ice a little bit. Nice hot summer day. Great sort of aperitif.
And you guys have kind of taken the charge on that. I'm sure you probably have a lot of people coming in, buying the non-alcoholic beverages and really expanding the library.
Yeah, it's been a really important part for us. And, non-alc slowly started trickling in several years ago. And it started with beer, but all of a sudden, I think the first thing was it was actually a non-alc gin that came in. And we were the first people to have that in town. And as the non-alc options have become more and more available, so has the demand for it that's out there. So
my brother-in-law, he stands by the non-alcoholic Guinness. Has
so
there
good.
been one that you think is kind of, set the bar very high?
Yeah, I mean, the Guinness did set the bar really, really high. I think there's some really great beers out there these days that are non-alcs. I think Tuesday Brewing, they're out of Calgary. They make a fantastic one. Athletic's done a pretty good job with it. They were one of the first really big ones that are out there. There's just so many choices. There's a French one out there right now. The name is escaping me at the moment, but they do a lot of sours. And so if you're a real sour beer fan, you can get your sour on with these as well. And both locations have a ton of them.
X-Ray Gogs texting in more Thirsty Thursdays for Connor. Hey, I'm happy to slide in whenever it's called upon. So what do we have next here? We'll leave the NAs and go to
so we're off the NAs. Now we're moving into an Austrian red rosé wine.
Okay.
And so this is the Sigurd Lench Rosé Blau Frankish. Probably totally slayed all of that. But it's a dry rosé. So people sometimes they look at rosés and they're thinking, it's going to be a sweet wine. This is a dry rosé. The Blau Frankish is it's a really rare grape that is, indigenous to that area. And so we're going to get sort of that red currants, wild strawberries, rose petals kind of idea going on with this.
And we will have a social media post for anyone who wants to check out what we've been sampling. And every time we do the description from you, I grab the bottle and hold it up so people can take a look and see what if they want to come into Sherbrooke, and always just tell them, hey, what did I hear on Thirsty Thursday today? And you can advise them.
Perfect. And this would be great, summertime, a day like this, grilled shrimp, summer salad, charcuterie, things like that.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Now, when someone comes in and says, hey, I'm grilling up a nice, I don't even know, steak tonight, what should I pair with it? Do you have good advice for people like that?
I think it all depends on what you want. The beauty of beverages out these days, and understanding people's palates, that you can pair just about anything for anybody.
Yeah,
and what you want. How it's going to go. I mean, this would be great. This would be great. And we're drinking this at room temperature. It should be chilled, but you can tell because it's room temperature, it's a little bit more rich. And if we chilled it, it would be a little bit more bright. You wouldn't have that depth that's in there right now too. So that also changes.
Yeah, and I will say, full hand up, my palate is probably not as good as most people. Usually when I'm out at a restaurant and someone orders some red, like, oh yeah, you're right, this does pair well with it, I usually can't tell the difference. So I'm trying to evolve and learn a little bit more about that one. But that quite tasty. Now we're moving into some of the hard stuff.
So now we're getting to the hard. So we're going to go to an Irish gin right now. So this is Dingle gin. They've been around for quite some time. This is a real typical Irish style gin. You've got floral, citrus forward nose to it. We're gonna smell that. Some fresh juniper and herbs with it. A little bit maybe earthy. This is just a fantastic summer gin and tonic or gin and soda. Brilliant with that. That citrus on the nose is so good, right? It's huge.
That is quite nice, actually. Different than the gin I might have been doing shots of in my 20s.
Probably a little bit different. Yeah, it's not lemon gin.
No, definitely not. Yeah, that would go down quite easy back in the day. So you say kind of gin and tonic this would be best for?
This would be amazing with a gin and tonic. Yeah, just so you get some premium tonic. It's got a little bit of that spice to it too, right?
Yeah.
So it's got a little bit of a piney depth to it. Beautiful.
The pine is always kind of a nice taste for me personally. I really enjoy that. So yeah, that's a really good one.
It is really lovely on that.
Thirsty Thursday. David Owens joining us from Sherbrooke Liquor, 2 locations in the city, and the newer location going to have an open house this weekend. What time is it going to go till?
We are 1 till 4.
1 till 4. So if you're in the area, if not, make the trip.
Make the trip.
It's worth your time.
And yeah, it'll be great. It's gonna be a great afternoon.
There might be some people who are like double dipping. Went to the OG location last week, and I'm like, that was fun.
And so they should, because it's gonna be completely different.
Oh, really? Okay.
So if you missed, last one, I don't think anything's the same. I think they're 2 very different events. So
all right, now what we got here? We're going out east.
We're going out east. Yeah, this is the Newfoundland Distillery, and this is their Chaga rum. So it's a 5-year-old Demerara rum. Which is it's great. It's Canadian, and what they do is the Newfoundland Distillery is well known for foraging around their area and including botanicals and things from that area into their spirits.
Okay.
And so this chaga is a mushroom. This is a wild forage mushroom, so you're going to get that earthy, woodsy. There's some molasses, vanilla, caramel, things like that. Really smooth sort of palate. Maybe some toffee, some dark chocolate, right? This would be great. Put some maple bitters into it and just have it like that over ice, or switch up your old fashioned instead of whiskey, adding this into it.
Smells fantastic. Maybe better than some of the other spiced rum you might have had.
Probably a lot better. Yeah,
depending on preference, I suppose. That's good.
That's a lovely rum. Just as a nice sipper on its own. If you're a cigar smoker, this would be perfectly paired with that.
Well, my lungs couldn't handle that, but I could stick with this. Now, I've had friends in the past with spiced rum, especially. Put it in the freezer. Do you do that, or do you prefer it room temperature, chilled, or anything?
I personally prefer my rum room temperature. I think with some spiced rums that are out there, if you're putting it in the freezer, and what that's going to help do is going to help reduce some of the perception of sweetness in it. Icing it down like that. So anytime you ice something out, you're going to take away a whole bunch of different flavor profile from it.
Okay.
So the more it warms up, the more the flavor profile you're going to get out of it.
Yeah, I mean, we were probably just mixing it with Coke back in the day.
Probably
so
with
it's
Coke.
a little simpler.
And and of course, with that Coke and some of that spiced rum, that's a huge sugar bomb. So
absolutely,
yeah,
that's how you start the night off.
That's how you start the night off. That's right.
And what's the final one?
Yeah. So last but not least, so this is Red Bank whiskey. And you'll see there's a little autograph on the bottom there. This is Nova Scotia, and
Kiefer Sutherland?
That is Kiefer Sutherland.
Star of 24.
I have had the pleasure of enjoying a reasonable amount of this whiskey with him.
No, really?
He was in town here when they launched this a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and we sat at the library at the Hotel Mac and and with him and his partners, and we had a good visit, good time. Great guy, and really great whiskey. So this is a wheated style whiskey, which you'll find sometimes in bourbons that are out there. So it's really soft, mellow, nice, easy drinking, just on its own or in a cocktail.
You're seeing lots of celebrities and athletes kind of get into the alcohol game. So have you met anyone else other than Kiefer Sutherland? I know Chris Pronger was doing his whiskey, I believe, as well.
Chris was at our store a little while ago as
Yeah,
well. Yeah,
nice.
so we've had him. We've had a few in along the way. So
That's awesome.
This is a really nice, easy drinking whiskey.
Yeah. You know what? I've never been someone who's kind of sipped on whiskeys or anything, but that's actually like, if you're watching on YouTube, my face didn't flinch or anything. That actually goes down pretty smooth.
It goes down perfectly smooth. Yeah. Just this on, I personally like to drink a lot of whiskey neat, just like this, no ice. But this over, a couple of cubes, be perfectly refreshing on its own, or, in a highball with some soda.
Yeah.
Be perfect with that. Great summer beverage. Put it into a Manhattan. Beautiful whiskey.
So power rankings. What are your top 3 from the drinks we had?
Oh, geez, today, it was fun to revisit a couple of these things I haven't had for a while. That Dingle gin is just such a great summer. I mean, it's good all the time, but it's a great summer gin. Like if you're a gin tonic, I'm a gin tonic. I like to do gin tonics and mixed up. I'll do like half tonic, half soda, so it's not so super sweet. I'm getting a little bit older. I got to watch the belly a little bit, but that's a perfect gin and tonic summertime beverage. And the Red Bank whiskey, and then. Oh gosh, these are all good examples.
Red Bank, yeah.
But that Red Bank is great.
Yeah, really good options today here. And even for someone who wants the non-alcoholic, the sparkling tea was quite refreshing.
Quite refreshing. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have to pass it on to some of our other people here. Let them get the samples and see what they think. Now, we haven't had much Oilers to talk about. Do you follow the CFL? Are you Elks guy or anything like that?
Following a little bit. Yeah, I have to follow because my mom is hardcore diehard. So I'm not sure how she's going to think about this whole Trey Ford stuff.
Something. It is something.
That's a big deal right now. So.
You know what? I think if they go Fajardo and it doesn't go good tomorrow night, he struggles. Oh, it's going to be a tough decision going back to Trey Ford. I don't know what they do.
It's going to be a tough decision. How's Trey Ford going to feel right now after a couple of years of this kind of back and forth stuff?
Yeah. And I mean, I understand that there was probably some conversation convincing him this is the place you want to be. This is where your future is. And
sure.
Here we are going into game 6 and you're back on the bench. It's tough.
You got to wonder, does the defense just hate Trey? They just want to help him out, or?
I mean,
I say that in jest, of course, right?
Of course. Yeah.
But holy cow, if the defense could just step it up a little bit, there's some opportunity there.
Yeah. And I will say, even when there's been plays where they play it perfectly and then it's just, you don't bring down the quarterback, or it's an underthrown deep ball and the receiver turns and, perfect coverage means nothing. It's just, they haven't had any breaks. They've had injuries and it's going to be certainly tough. Jake Seresna is going to play tomorrow, which is crazy. Popped his leg back in and he's good to go. But players are a different breed. That's Thursday. David Owens joining us from Sherbrooke Liquor and Open House Saturday, 1 to 4 from the newer location.
Yeah, 50th Street, 9271 50th Street, right next to the Gemco.
You going to be down there?
I will be down there for a little bit. You betcha.
Excellent. Well, hey, maybe if I'm out and about, we'll swing by. Really appreciate you coming in and bringing in some of these drinks.
Fantastic. Thanks so much.
There you go. David Owens from Sherbrooke Liquor, Thirsty Thursday, every Thursday here on the Jason Gregor Show at 2:40. Some really good samples. And if you're listening and, you want to go check these out, we'll have them posted on our social media. You can always go to the YouTube video later on tonight and just scroll through, 40 minutes into the program. Every time we talk about one, I did hold the bottle up so you can get a little visual of what you might want to go for. Text line 1-833-401-1440. We'll talk more Hockey Canada, Elks, Blue Jays, Oilers. Lots to get to on this show still coming up in the next hour. Do a little Chicago Bears preview as training camp's underway with Zach Pearson. Also, Terry Ryan will join us for one segment, and more of your texts at 1-833-401-1440. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Right now, we'll get to a Sports 1440 update with Declan Kruger, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They are hiring HVAC installers and plumbers. Starting bonus to the right candidates. Strong benefits. RRSP matching tuition reimbursement. Apply today at legacyheating.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
And Justice Maria Corosha is delivered her verdict on the sexual assault case against the 2018 World Junior team. All 5 players have been found not guilty and acquitted of all charges, and Michael McLeod has also been acquitted of a separate charge of being party to offense of sexual assault. Elks news is Cody Fajardo will get the start at quarterback tomorrow night for the Elks as they are in Saskatchewan to take on the Riders. Fullback Tanner Green is a game-time decision, and Jake Seresna good to go. CFL Week 8 kicks off tonight as the Alouettes travel to McMahon to take on the Stamps. McLeod, Bethel Thompson starting for Monday Montreal as David Alexander is on the 6-game IL. One final from earlier today in the MLB was the Orioles over the Guardians 4-3 at 4:40. It's going to be the Blue Jays in Detroit taking on the Tigers. Eric Lauer on the mound for that one. Riverhawks back in action tonight, trying to avoid the sweep in Wenatchee against the Apple Sox. And in the NFL, Jets quarterback Justin Fields was carted off the field after suffering a non-contact injury in practice today. He is expected to be ready for Week 1 with the toe injury. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Out on the rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party, you're on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Josh Ave and 118th.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
The Discover Days sales event has been extended at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $7,500. Final month extended. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 from 0.49% and save $4,000. Save up to $7,500 on a 2025 demo XC40. Come and discover the deals now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
McDonald's sundaes and snack-size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicks things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
So you're dying from the heat, sweat dripping on your sheets. You want to cool it down, but your AC can't compete. So you fall upon your knees and cry out, oh please, I need a cooling breeze. Send me Legacy's AC Repairman. Legacy's AC Repairman. AC Repairman. Can't spell legacy without AC. Legacy Heating and Cooling's got a guy who's really good at fixing broken ACs. So if you got one, call Legacy. Okay, see you later. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Since 1963, Bashaw Concrete Products has been helping Albertans complete projects of all sizes. The highest quality ready mix and grout, septic tanks made to last, prompt delivery. Like I said, they're always happy to help. In fact, they'll even find you a nearby concrete finisher for your next project. Maybe it's a foundation for a home or a shop floor, or you're thinking decorative concrete. Nice. They'll recommend someone as dependable as Bashaw Concrete Products. Visit BashawConcrete.com and follow them on Facebook.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. We treat pain and injuries head to toe, and some other issues that might surprise you, like incontinence, vertigo, neuropathy, and cognitive issues. We invest in the technology, techniques, skills, and people who know how and what to fix. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Show here on Sports 1440, also available on Oilers Nation YouTube. We're on Facebook, X. Make sure you give us a like when you watch us online. And hey, shout out to those of you tuning in via the podcast as well, whether it's Apple, Google, Spotify. You can always track down our older shows. Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Use code word Gregor50. Get a $50 free play. Also tonight is the Daily Grant. You can win $1,000 a day for the next 20 years, totaling $7.3 million. PlayAlberta.ca. Remember to use your game sense. A lot of text coming in here from Thirsty Thursday. Jimmy was asking, did they say not to put Captain Morgan's spiced rum in the freezer? Yes, that is what David said. It will take away the flavor and the sweetness. And me in my 20s, that was a go-to move. I don't know why we did it. Maybe we thought more flavor would come from it, or we liked the thicker texture. I really don't know why we did it, but we did. And hey, we enjoyed it back then. But to all those of you out there right now, I'm looking at young Josh Fenwick. Don't put that spiced rum in the freezer. Keep it room temp. Keep that flavor. And if you are looking for a list of the drinks we had, like I said, it'll be on our social media platforms coming up shortly. I think Steve from Sherbrooke's going to do that. Right now, why don't we go in the room for Action Electrical? They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions in project, service tag, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net. We've got Terry Ryan, former NHLer, actor, author, Hall of Famer, joining us now. TR, how you doing today?
Not bad. How you doing?
Yeah, I cannot complain. It's been a pretty good start. Been a kind of a testy start to the show today. Obviously, the Hockey Canada ruling coming down earlier on with the players found not guilty. We'll get to that in a second. But I know you're having some issues with the cell phone. Have you started to get things back in order?
Oh my God. Halfway through yesterday, my phone, it was like it was getting filled in with ink blots. It had the feel of some kind of computer virus, but apparently my screen was just going. So anyway, it was a headache. There's a half-hour story. It's going to be on my podcast tomorrow, Tales with TR. But oh yeah, it was just a complete headache. And even right now, I didn't retrieve everything. I didn't back it up, and I don't have numbers. I don't have a lot of things. But anyway, it's a first world problem. I get it. Over the next few days, I'm sure I'll fill in the blanks. But it's been a trying day to say the least.
I mean, I've been there before. I hate when that happens, and someone texts you. You have to say, "Hey, sorry, who's this?" It's a tough process. Hopefully, you'll get I'll get it all backed up and figured out sooner than later. But TR, let's talk a little bit to start off just about the Hockey Canada rulings. Of course, the players found not guilty today out in Ontario. What do you think is next for these players? Are you someone who thinks that they should be back in the NHL, or do you think maybe that part of their career is past?
Well, if they're good enough, I think by all means. Given what I don't want to get into the specifics because I know that can be really polarizing and divisive. But I think people should really sit back before they throw stones at a glass house. Like, let's just think here, right? Let's look at everything. If you really want to dissect that whole procedure, go ahead. It's certainly, when I first heard about it and I read, there are definitely things in there that I'm going, hey, maybe these guys deserve a voice. I'm not surprised they're found not guilty. I don't want to get into the specifics, but after all of that ordeal, at the very least, I'm sure they're very aware that they maybe crossed some boundaries, but they're found not guilty. Now, this system that we live in, culture that we live in, we're taught not only to give second chances, but again, they're not guilty, right? So for me, by all means, go back I think it's been hard enough, no matter what the decision, it's been hard enough the last couple of years. The fact that it's not guilty, I think you can move on. Clearly, these guys know that, that was probably a big deal, and let's not make any more mistakes. But again, I know I just talking about this, I know it's polarizing, but yeah, it's not guilty. Get out there. You got to live your life. They're hockey players. And, hey, if they can make the NHL after being off for so long, by all means.
Yeah, I mean, it is a hot button issue, and we've talked about it. I don't think we're going to change anybody's opinion by discussing it on the show. I am curious. I think they all will play hockey again. I don't know at what level. I don't know if it'll be over in the KHL or wherever it might be. But yes, they're found not guilty earlier today, and safe to assume I think they'll all be back on the ice sooner rather than later. Now, TR, I don't know if you're a big wrestling guy, but another polarizing figure in the sporting world, Hulk Hogan, passing away today at the age of 71. Now, were you a Hulkamaniac back in the day?
Yeah, I don't follow it now whatsoever. I wouldn't be able to tell you the top wrestler if he hit me upside the head, but back then I watched all of it. Yeah, I mean, I had all the action figures. There was cards out. I followed the storyline, I guess, until the mid-90s. Maybe a little bit longer than that.
See, I probably missed that part, but I picked it up when Hulk went to the WCW, started the NWO, took the heel turn with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. I mean, that was probably the best entertainment I could have got on a Monday night for Nitro whenever it would air. Like, it was some of the best stuff going on. Each week, somebody was joining the NWO, and, the good versus evil, Sting and Bret Hart and all those guys taking them on. It was phenomenal television. Now, do you have maybe your top 3 wrestlers of all time?
Oh, yeah, they'd all come from there. I loved The Undertaker. There's no one close because I love the pallbearer. I just love the whole act of it. I mean, and people say, oh, it's not real. Look, it's real. They're doing crazy stunts, and I don't think anybody was ever thinking that, they're going to compete for an Olympic medal. But my favorite, I love the storylines. Definitely Undertaker, pallbearer. Number 2 would have been the Ultimate Warrior. Hulkamania was a big thing. That he was always right up there. And, then the lesser knowns. I loved Coco Beware. And I think, looking back, you got to go Bret the Hitman Hart being Canadian and Jake the Snake there. Those are my favorite. 6. There you go. Those are my favorites. There's others, but those guys, I knew everything that was on the go every day. And before the internet, when I was in the 80s, I was born in 77. From 8 to 12 or 13 there in the late 80s. I was really, really into it. Like I said, there's no internet, so you just buy the magazines. You buy the hockey news, and you'd have that read, right? That'd take 20 or 30 minutes, maybe 2 hours if you went through all the stats. And then, you're left with maybe Sports Illustrated. And for me, it was right into the wrestling. Loved it. Hulk Hogan, I know he's polarizing, but that was his whole thing from the beginning. He wanted to be, and, he was at times a likable villain, at times a hero, but always entertaining.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I don't think wrestling is where it is without the impact that he had, helping to grow it kind of in its infancy of the WWF days. Terry Ryan joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. News today from the NHL that Daniel Sprong signing with the KHL's CSKA Moscow. Now, TR, you played in North America your whole career. Did you ever get offers or consider playing in, Russia, Sweden, anything like that?
Yeah, I would have loved to do it. I would have loved it. I just, that was the plan. NHL wasn't the be all and end all. That was my main focus, obviously, but I ended up, I was in Montreal, and I finally, after I got out of a bit of a contract squabble, to put it mildly, but again, this is all in the past. I found my way into Dallas, and I went down to Dallas early. In the summer, I kind of tweaked I got there, and I really hurt it bad. I had a high ankle sprain, and it kind of ruled that out. I came home, and I wanted to, and even when I thought I lost the step for the NHL, and it was upset. After a couple of years, I wanted to go over there, but I'd signed my retirement papers. It was going to be a big deal, and if I just played over there, I would forfeit money that had come into me, which I never got anyway. But I also wasn't the same player. I mean, I did dream about it, though, yes. I was as fond about playing hockey overseas almost as playing in the NHL. I saw it as free travel, and, it's a lighter schedule and everything. And I kind of look forward to someday, I'm going to go over and do that. Now, I did go, I ended up over there quite a few times, many places in Europe with ball hockey. There's the World Championships were in Germany, Italy, Prague, Czech Republic. I've been over there a lot now, and I probably 2 out of 3 summers I make my way over there, usually for ball hockey. But I know you didn't ask about Europe specifically, but yeah, there's a place in my heart. A lot of my buddies play over there. I go over to visit them. So it would have been something that I would have absolutely loved, and I would have done it till I was 45, till I couldn't skate anymore. But unfortunately, that door didn't open because of injuries.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure you have way more connects than I do that have gone over there and played. But from everyone I've talked to, they've just said, what a good way, especially at the end of the career. Like you said, lighter schedule. You get to travel, check out the world, and make a little money playing hockey doing so. Certainly would not be the worst thing. Terry Ryan joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, and Josh Fenwick with you here at the Stingray Studios in West Edmonton Mall. Now, just looking at the CFL, TR, and the importance of the quarterback position and what's going on in Edmonton with a guy like Trey Ford, who's been polarizing. The announcement today that they're going to start Cody Fajardo when they take on the Rough Riders tomorrow night. How does that impact the team? Going from a younger player with upside to someone who's been there, done that, and has won 2 Grey Cups.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to ask the guys in the room. For me, sometimes if things aren't clicking, you just got to change it up. That's it. You ask the Toronto Maple Leafs with Mitch Marner, and I guess you could make the case with many players, right over the course of a lot of sports. I mean, the Brooklyn Nets a few years ago. Sometimes you look at the paper and you say, this doesn't make sense that we're not winning, but we've got to do something. And a lot of the time, it works, right? Like a lot of the time, it's just something. Maybe it's a new coach, or it's a, again, football would be a quarterback. You might have a new pitcher or new starting player in baseball. The Jays right now are clicking, right? That's the thing. Like, do you mess with this? Even when Varsho comes back, I mean, he's a great player, but they've been doing so good without him. And now you're going to trade for someone because you might need it, but who you're getting rid of, because the room right now is big. If the Jays got anything, it's that they are a team. They're not striking out much. The mighty Yankees come in with the best big bats and everything, and they're beating them because they're playing as a team. So I think that question, although I love it, because the in-game and in-dressing room dynamics really fascinate me. They always did as a player, and they continue to do so. But I would think any kind of change when you might not be at your playing your best is welcome.
Terry Ryan joining us here on the Gregor Show. And that's kind of where I wanted to end it with you today with the Toronto Blue Jays. Like you said, take the series with the Yankees with the big win last night, and, doing it playing small ball. We talked about it yesterday with Jason, just, when's Vlad going to get going and starting home runs, but they're winning baseball games, and the trade deadline is a week away. How much do you try to balance that in bringing in some players who can contribute, but also not messing with what you have going on in the clubhouse right now?
Honestly, if I'm the Jays brass right now, I don't know if I'm getting any sleep till after the deadline, and then not much. Because there's, to make the short answer is that I think it's a very, very, very hard situation to be in, because exactly, they're winning. But I mean, any team in baseball going for it, you could say wants, needs, whatever, a bat and a pitcher going in, a bat and an arm. But I think in this case, we all know, even I'm not saying it's a house of cards that's just going to fall, but I think the Jays could really stand more depth at those positions. And if they're ever going to go for it, they're going to go for it now, which I'm very confident. I don't think they're not going to make a move. They've said what they're going to do all along. It hasn't been popular. Oh, we're going to build from within. Yeah, right. But it's worked. It's worked. Say what you want. It has worked. Whatever they've said, and I've doubted them over the last couple of years, it's worked. Now that we're here, okay, we only get so many chances. I mean, ask the Oilers. Last 2 Stanley Cup finals, hopefully they get back. You don't know. You only get so many chances. And in baseball is no different, especially when you're in a division with the Yankees and the Red Sox. I don't care what year it is. I don't care. It could be now, it could be 100 years ago. Those guys are in your, or from now, if they're in your division, you're not always going to be in a position like you're in right now, just for the money and the talent and the history and all of that stuff. So now they're there, and now they're proving not only are they there, but they're superior to these teams. I mean, I was at that 4-game series against the Yankees a month ago, and look at it again. It's not like they're winning in dominant fashion, but they're winning as a team, and they're winning in convincing fashion. And for me, I know it's a hard thing to mess with, but the way I look at it, let's say you get another ace. It can't, you just add a man to the rotation. Is that such a bad thing? And going into the playoffs, I mean, look over the history of even recent history. If you don't, people listening that don't go all the way back, you always have guys pitching out of break. Clayton Kershaw pitched more bullpen innings over the last 5-10 years than he did starting. I mean, Baumgartner, when he was in there, it just happens. That's it. So that can't hurt. And I think the same thing for a bat. It's different in baseball, because if you trade for like a hockey player and a top 6, he's got to go in that top 6. And if he doesn't, it starts to be a disappointment. But look at guys like Davis Schneider, right? Coming off the bench right? And sliding home, beating the play by about 2 inches. Guys, I don't know, Clement, Berger, like a lot of these guys don't start every single game, and I think that's why you have such a dynamic, unique team there is because they know that. So I don't think, put it this way, bringing in a good player, I don't think will rock the boat, but it can't be any attitude. It has to be a player with the right attitude, with the karma, with everything that will gel. And again, I think maybe the players that, like, if I'm a GM here or whatever, I'm in this case, any one of the brass of the many that exist in baseball, I would be talking to the players about that right here. Okay, guys, here we go. Vladdy, Bo, let's go. George, come over here. Now, here's what we got. It's not always like that, but I think going into this position, you can rely on those veterans, guys. Here's what we got. Now, I don't know the players like you do. We got boom, boom, and boom. Now, X, Y, and Z. Which guy here do you think will fit in? That's what I would do. I think you're a little bit disconnected when you're in a level of ownership or management, and maybe you get the always isn't the answer to ask the players. But I think in this case, when you're talking about personalities, because they're going to make a move, you want it to be the right one, and then you just trust your gut. After that, you just go with it, and I think they got the tools in the shed to make a great move here, one way or the other.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. We're 1 week away to add another pitcher to Barrios, Bassett, and Gosman would be nice. And another bat, like you say, anywhere in the lineup where you can insert it, not going to be a bad thing. So, TR, thanks so much for doing this today. I know you're watching your daughter play some soccer right now, so enjoy that, and we'll talk to you on Tuesday.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Declan. Thank you, Edmonton. And we'll talk again soon.
There you go. That is Terry Ryan, Shoresy star, former NHLer, Hall of Famer, two-time author, host of podcast, Tales with TR. Check it out. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we're going to continue our look around the NFL. We're going to talk some Chicago Bears. That's coming up next here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, and Josh Fenwick with you here, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Mr. Rooter rides in a hot air balloon.
Oh, wow. You can really see it all from up here. The river crossing the city like a water line, the Walterdale like PVC pipes, and the cars circling the Anthony Henday like waste swirling a toilet bowl. Which reminds me, which way to the bathroom?
There's no toilet in a hot air balloon.
Well, I will have to remedy that.
For a plumber who soars above the others, trust Mr. Rooter.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
It's the Bricks Price Meltdown. Score hot summer savings like up to 40% off mattresses and a 10% instant credit towards sleep accessories. Save up to $900 off sofas and sectionals and up to 25% off bedroom and dining packages. Plus, buy more, save more on select major kitchen appliances, up to $500 off. Even more, find hot prices on Canadian-made pieces and get up to 15% off patio furniture. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Rivalries run deep in Alberta football.
Edmonton all the way.
Calgary rules. But when it comes to the best snack for 3-down fun, there's no Battle of Alberta. It's a clear winner.
Wilhock Beef Jerky.
The one thing every Alberta fan agrees on. So whether you're watching the game from your recliner or in the stands, make it a part of your game day.
Wilhock Beef Jerky. Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe that life shouldn't hurt. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't know that sometimes it really hurts. I mean, we've seen people at their worst moments in life, when they feel they have nowhere to turn, or at a time when they felt like their problem just wouldn't ever go away. We've also seen people who thought to themselves, it'll just go away on its own, or this is no big deal. I don't want to bother anyone about this. Don't know where to turn to, or think it's no big deal. Either way, we have the technology, techniques, and skills to help you get back to it, whatever your it may be. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Ah, yes, the majestic air swing. Don't fret, Colonial Golf Club welcomes all skill levels, even those who struggle to make contact. Colonial's championship course is designed to challenge pros, entertain amateurs, and provide just enough hazards to keep things interesting.
Oops.
Well, at least the Ducks are impressed. Colonial Golf Club, just south of Edmonton down 50th Street. Book your tee time now at colonial.ca.
My dog ate my homework.
Everyone else was doing it.
But Mom said I could stay up late.
Kids are great at making excuses. As parents and teachers, we're good at seeing through them. And we're not buying the Alberta government's excuses for underfunding public education, leaving our kids with crowded classes and without one-on-one supports. Go to stoptheexcuses.ca and tell the government to start funding schools right. A message from the Alberta Teachers Association.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
No, it's the Jason Gregor Show. It's usually fantasy frenzy when I'm on here, but it is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Use code word Gregor50 with your next deposit and get a $50 free play. Remember, use your game sense. Stay within your limits. Text line 1-833-401-1440. Gregor is off today. He'll be back tomorrow. We also got Declan Kruger keeping us on track and Josh Fenwick on the stream. If you're watching on YouTube right now, hello, happy, I see ya. Kesh, make sure you guys hit that like button for us. And if you're looking for someone to go watch us, you're thinking, radio is one thing, but I'd love to see these guys talk. YouTube, Facebook, and X is where you can find us at Oilers Nation. Right now, we're going to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company. Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches safely taking your team or group to their next destination. Visit silentrides.ca for more information. We'll continue our look around NFL training camps with Zach Pearson, covers the Chicago Bears for Bear Report, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. You can give him a follow on X at Zach_Pearson. Zach, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Training camp is off and rolling, so I've been keeping busy.
Yeah, I could imagine. I love this time of year. You throw on the NFL Network and you're getting all the training camp reports. It's fantastic. And there might not be a more intriguing team for me than the Chicago Bears with what's going on. And last year, obviously, Caleb Williams gets brought in. They acquire Keenan Allen. And I think there was some optimism there, but ends up in a coaching change. But the Chicago Bears bring in probably the hottest coaching candidate we've seen in a while, Ben Johnson, former offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. What have been the biggest changes that you've seen from the new head coach?
Intensity, attention to details, making sure everything is right. They're not going to kind of lollygag out there. They're not going to just move on to a next play if something doesn't go, their way. It's just, we talked to Kevin Byard today and he said, the intensity is totally different than what they've seen, last year and what I've seen in the past couple of years. We saw a little bit of it in minicamp and OTAs in terms of him getting on a couple players. He got on Caleb Williams, he got on Cole Kmet, DJ Moore told us he got on him once. And then we saw it right away yesterday in training camp, the first day of practice in an 11 on 11, or I believe 11 on 11 drill. He yelled at the first team offense, pulled them off to stop the drill because they weren't getting, lined up properly, and before the play clock was winding down, and he was visibly and verbally upset. So yeah, I just think the intensity is a lot different, and he's out there demanding perfection, and that's kind of what this franchise needed after what happened last year with all the firings and moving on from Matty Eberflus and going into a different direction.
Well, I want to ask you about last year, and specifically with quarterback Caleb Williams, the first overall pick out of USC. We know how much success he had at the collegiate level, and the flashes were there for sure. What did you see from Williams last year, and how much has changed going into this year in training camp, albeit as early as it is?
Yeah, last year it's a little tough because it was very turbulent for him. Number one overall pick, high expectations. People said it was the right situation to get into. And I was sitting there kind of thinking, I said it as well. Then as we kind of got closer to, start of the season, I'm like, well, they still have Matty Eberflus as a coach, and he hasn't proven to be a good coach just yet. And that ended up being proven true. Like it just, nothing really changed. He was in a tough spot. That game against the Commanders with the Hail Mary absolutely broke them. That was kind of the first final straw in Matty Eberflus, and then they fired Shane Waldron. They promoted Thomas Brown to offensive coordinator. Then they fired Matt Eberflus after another bad coaching moment, promoted Thomas Brown to head coach. So essentially his pass game coordinator start the year ended up being his head coach. The defense checked out, it looked like, a little bit towards the end of the year. And for Williams, he still put up a really good rookie season. I mean, yeah, Bo Nix went to the playoffs with the Broncos. Jaden Daniels, was really good. But, it didn't really help Caleb's case because the Bears were bad and he was the number one overall pick. So going into this year, I think they paired him with the right guy. They needed a guy to be hard on him. They needed a quarterback, a guy that has worked with quarterbacks in the past, helping improve Jared Goff's game the past couple of years in Detroit. So yeah, I think they went out and got the best candidate for Caleb Williams. And now, it's only been 2 days of training camp, and really, honestly, mini camp and OTAs, we didn't see a whole lot. And now in training camp, we're not seeing a whole lot the first couple of days, but the one thing I've noticed is, they're kind of working on the footwork a little bit, and they're kind of pinpointing, okay, you have to be a little better on short throws to the left as well. So I think there's going to be an improvement. It's been a little bit of a slow start here in camp, but there's a long way to go. We still got about 6 more weeks till the games actually matter.
Absolutely. Zach Pearson joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. He covers the Bears for Bear Report. And I mean, I just look this roster right now. It's like a Madden player's dream. You got DJ Moore, Roma Dunze. They draft Luther Burden in the second round. Also in the first round, take Colston Loveland out of Michigan. A guy is a Chargers fan. I was kind of hoping there's a chance he might slip, but it didn't happen. What are you expecting from this offense this year? Because, obviously it's going to be tough with that division. You got to put up points. It seems like they have all the capabilities to do so.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to be better than last year, and it shouldn't be too hard because they were very inconsistent last year. So yeah, you're right. You're going to have to put up points. It's a very tough division. You have 3 teams that you're looking at that could make the playoffs ahead of you. The Bears finished last season, and if they don't improve this year, they're probably going to finish last again. So yeah, I do think the offense will be better. There's a lot of weapons. They got to get Luther Burden on the field. They got to get Colston Loveland on the field. Loveland is ahead of Burden right now. He's ramping up. That'll be a big piece of their offense. But Burden's been dealing with soft tissue injury that, has kept him out pretty much all of the offseason and now the first 2 practices. So I'm kind of curious to see what it's going to look like when all those pieces are there. But, I'm expecting a lot of 12 personnel, 2 tight end sets. I think they're really going to want to run the football and lean on the run game early. With Ben Johnson, I think a point that he wants to stress to Caleb Williams is, if the check down's there, take it. Take the easy throws. Let's extend the drive and march on the field and get points. They set a goal of 70% completion percentage for Caleb Williams, which is, pretty lofty. Only 5 quarterbacks did that last season. So if they can reach those goals, I think they'll be a better offense. But you're right, and I think it's all going to depend on the offensive line. They made some big changes up front. I think they solidified the interior, with 2 trades and a free agent signing of Drew Dahlman. Left tackle is going to be the biggest question mark on that line, and there's a positional battle going on there right now. So, when they get the pads on and kind of get everyone back and healthy, I think the offense will look better than what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because the interior of the offensive line totally redone. Joe Tooney comes over from KC in a trade. Also Jonah Jackson, and like you mentioned, Drew Dahlman in free agency. Nice little payday for him. I've got to assume the fan base pretty impressed with what Ryan Poles was able to do this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, we've been waiting for him to. The fan base is waiting for him to address the offensive line, and I think whether it works out or not is to be determined. But he made moves to at least attempt to fix the offensive line, and there was just no consistency at all the past couple of years on that line. They went out and got the top center on the market, the free agent market, with Drew Dahlman. They wasted no time signing him, and days before that, they signed or they traded for all-pro guard and Joe Tooney. They traded for Jonah Jackson, a guy who's familiar with Ben Johnson. So, yeah, I think they have their 4 there solidified. It's just going to be left tackle. That's going to be the biggest question mark. But if they can find a solution at left tackle, they really should have a better offensive line than last year. And I think that was kind of the reason why, Caleb Williams struggled a little bit. I mean, he was getting hit a lot. Not all the sacks on the offensive line. There were sacks on him as well. But was getting hit a lot. There was not much consistency. And, I truly believe he just kind of felt like at the end he just wasn't trusting his line. I don't think that'll be the case this year.
Now, just looking in this division, Zach, as we're joined by Zach Pearson, covers the Chicago Bears. I mean, the talent is unbelievable. I would say this is the best division in football. You got JJ McCarthy with the Vikings. We'll find out how that works. But Jordan Addison after he serves a suspension, Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones, you go to the Packers, and Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs, the receivers that they have there. They draft Matthew Golden. And then the Detroit Lions, who, I would say maybe the best offense in football when you get it going with Jahmyr Gibbs and St. Brown and Laporta. The defensive side of the ball is going to be tested 6 games for at least this year with those teams. Now, have they done enough in this offseason to try to at least keep it close?
Yeah, and I think, adding Grady Jarrett was huge. When he became available, that was kind of a no-brainer for them. But getting Andrew Billings back is probably going to be their biggest move, I'd say. They still need, they signed Deo Domingo, who, hasn't just, got a big contract, but the stats just might not be there for him in his time in Indianapolis. So you're kind of banking on him to go out and prove it. But they're going to need another pass rusher, I think. And even if Montez Sweat returns to form, you still need someone else to get after the quarterback. I think that's probably going to be their biggest weak spot. I think the secondary could be, arguably the best in football if everyone stays healthy. They're getting Jaquan Brisker back. Jalen Johnson's dealing with an ankle injury right now or a leg injury right now, and he's been out. But if they stay healthy, the secondary will be fine. It's that pass rush up front, and if they can get to the quarterback or not. But getting Andrew Billings back healthy should help. I mean, he missed most of the season last year, had a season-ending injury, I think in week 4. And when that happened, their production up front just kind of flattened. And Montez Sweat was hurt as well. And, guys like Gervon Dexter were getting double teamed and really couldn't produce. So I think the defense is going to be good this year. I really like the addition of Dennis Allen. Everyone talks about the Ben Johnson hire, but Ben Johnson bringing in Dennis Allen as a defensive coordinator was a big move for me. And I think he's going to have this defense ready to go. And he's also going to be a benefit to Ben Johnson because he has some coaching experience. He can kind of help lead the way a little bit if he needs to.
Now, before we let you go, I do have to ask you, I see you do write for Tar Heels Wire, the Tar Heels this offseason, bringing in Bill Belichick. What can we expect from them this season?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what I know. I know some people around that program. There's a lot of excitement. The hype is obviously there. ESPN's going to be there a ton covering their games. I wouldn't be shocked if they struggle just a little bit. I think that's kind of natural. Like, I remember the Dion opener against TCU, and they beat TCU. And North Carolina actually plays TCU in Bill Belichick's first game. But after that TCU game, I believe Colorado struggled, didn't make a bowl. I think the Tar Heels will make a bowl, but I think it'd be 6-7 win season. And I think now once he gets his recruiting classes in here, things will change. But you hear all the negative stuff in the national media. Everything I've heard coming out of Chapel Hill has been good with Belichick and how he's handled things. And they're really excited. I mean, they had their media days today, and it looked like a packed house just for Belichick to speak when he spoke today.
How was he with recruiting? Because that was something I think a lot of people talked about that maybe wouldn't be a strength of his, but I'm feeling it. If you're a young player and you want to make to the NFL, there's probably no better coach to learn from than Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I found it weird that, there's like a narrative that he doesn't want to go out recruiting, and why would he want to go take trips recruiting? And that just, from what I know, that has not been the case. I mean, they had a pretty good recruiting class coming in. They did really well in the transfer portal. And like you said, I mean, if you want to get to the next level, want to be a pro, who else to learn from than, arguably the greatest football coach, or NFL coach of all time. So yeah, I mean, it just never made sense to me that he didn't want to recruit. Obviously recruiting is so much different these days, especially the transfer portal and, how players can, flip and NIL, you're recruiting the same players over and over, but it's also a lot of it, is maybe less trips than you'd normally take. But yeah, everything I've heard, it really hasn't been a problem at all.
Now, last question for you, selfish one for me. What are you thinking about Amarian Hampton this year with the Chargers, drafted out of UNC?
Yeah, first off, he's a good kid. I had a chance to talk to him at the scouting combine, and just an excellent person, an excellent football player. I think he went to the right spot. I know they added Najee Harris too in the off season, but I think him with Harbaugh and a team that wants to run the football, you have a good quarterback in Justin Herbert. I think he's going to fit in well there, and he is just like a tackle breaking machine. So I think he'll be really good for the Chargers.
No, I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, the combo with Jim Harbaugh should be fun to watch. Well, Zach, thank you so much for doing this today. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of camp, and we'll have to get you on again during the regular season.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you so much. Enjoy it.
There you go. That is Zach Pearson. Covers the Bears with Bear Report. Give him a follow on X at Zach with a K _Pearson. And yeah, the Chicago Bears, Declan, I know, that division, there's some tough ones, but the Bears could have a really good season, still miss the playoffs, and I think we'd look back and say, yeah, probably not surprising, because Packers, Vikings, Lions, all really good teams.
Yeah, and it's also one of those ones, like a great season by the Bears standards is their quarterback not being like Mitch Trubisky. You know what I mean? Like it's a bit of a different scale for the Bears, but to your credit, like I think they could be. I don't know where you have them pegged. Like I think 9 and 8 seems semi-realistic to me, even playing in a tough division in the NFC North. I don't know where you think their ceiling is. Like it's weird for me to say I feel like they're a 9 and 8 team, and 10 and 7, 11 and 6 still feels like their ceiling. But that's kind of where I come out on. It's such a gauntlet over there. The one thing I would say is I'm curious what the Vikings are going to look like, and I think the Packers may not be as good as some people think they are. I still think the Bears will be a touch below them though. But yeah, really, really interested and really looking forward to seeing this season here.
Yeah, and kind of changing the identity of the team. You get that offensive guy, you bring in the weapons, you beef up the offensive line in the interior, and like the way defensive tackles are used as pass rushers these days, man, you got to have a strong interior. So good for the Bears. Looking forward to seeing what happens. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Football season going to be here in no time. Of course, NFL football, college football. Right now we get the CFL Elks in action tomorrow night, taking on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Declan Kruger is going to be there. When we come back, we'll touch on that a little bit. We'll take your text, 1-833-401-1440. And I'm getting old. Talk about that as well. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by Play Alberta here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X.
The Discover Days sales event has been extended at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $7,500. Final month extended. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 from 0.49% and save $4,000. Save up to $7,500 on a 2025 demo XC40. Come and discover the deals now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
McDonald's Sundays and snack-size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company. More than just big bottles. Culligan.com.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
And Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Use promo code Gregor and get a $50 free play with your next deposit. Hope everyone's having a terrific afternoon. Monday away from the weekend. Tomorrow, you got the Elks in action, taking on the Rough Riders tonight. The Riverhawks in action, taking on Wenatchee once again, trying to bounce back after a couple tough losses. Well, we'll recap it all tomorrow here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley sitting in for Jason Gregor. We've got Declan Kruger and Josh Fenwick chatting with the boys over the break. I think they misremembered Vince Carter in the playoffs against Allen Iverson. What a series that was. My introduction to real good basketball.
Who won the series?
Well, the Sixers won, but in 7. You come on.
Did he make the playoffs twice in 6 years in Toronto?
It was bad teams, man. They had like Alvin Williams and
Did
hey, let's go get the oldest player in the league that we can, or someone who's so hurt. Oh, Jermaine O'Neal. Let's go get him out of his prime.
I got a fun one for that 2001 series you were referencing.
Yeah.
The Raptors had their second leading scorer had more points than the 76ers second leading scorer. Their third leading scorers were tied. The Raptors' 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th leading scorers all had more points than Philadelphia's 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th leading scorers. So it's just a fun one.
That's because Allen Iverson didn't pass the ball.
He didn't have to.
He was the answer. Do you remember that?
He was the answer. Well, listen, he was 5'9" and is a legend.
Yeah,
so credit to him.
He was what, 6'1", and his shorts were 5 feet long.
They listed him at like 6 feet or 6'1", but it's pretty widely accepted these days. He was 5'11".
He was so good.
Big up for the short kings.
Crossing up MJ in an All-Star game. Like, man, he was so cool. I couldn't even hate him. He killed my team. He and Dikembe Mutombo, Aaron Mackey, was it?
McKee.
Did they have T-Mac?
No.
Todd McCullough?
Yep, Todd McCullough.
Hey, T-Mac. Yeah, I'm not talking Tracy McGrady.
You're talking T-Mac.
Talking T-Mac. Canadian?
He averaged 2.6 points per game that series.
Big boy, though.
He shot 100% from the free throw line. That's efficiency.
Fundamental player. Very strong. Yeah, the good old days. Great Sixers uniforms. Raptors were great. That's when I really got into it. I was telling you guys, that was the first game I ever really raged. When Vince Carter missed that shot after going to his graduation at Chapel Hill, he didn't have to shoot a 3. He could have drove. But then McCullough would have probably blocked him. So I get why he didn't do it. Text line 1-833-401-1440. I told you guys I'm in a little bit of pain. I'm getting old. Last night, sitting on the couch with Ashley, and her phone fell. And I kind of gestured to go grab it and immediately pulled something in my back. Today, driving, I don't think I was very safe. Like, shoulder checking was tough. I still have a hard time kind of going fully to the left. So I might have to get to leading edge physio and get some work done. Declan, you were reading that liner and kind of giggled a little bit. Were some of the words tough for you there?
Well, I've never been great at the whole reading thing. So it was the big one. We were talking about it beforehand, and we were, you told me, you're like, Declan, there's some big words in there. Like, you're going to have to sound them out beforehand. I didn't do it, and this is the result we get. So
it was a very innocent action. Now, I just want to ask you and our listeners, like, worst injury to yourself, because this one is topping the list for me. I literally, I moved not like an inch, and like all of a sudden I seized up. I had to lay on the couch. I got the massager out, kind of get the back loosened up just a little bit, on a little bit of a painkiller today. Declan, any silly injuries for you?
Okay, so are we talking like silly injuries or worst injuries?
Silly injuries, like ones you wouldn't even want to own up to, like Dustin Penner with the pancakes.
That's a really good question. I haven't had too many silly injuries in that regard. The silliest would probably just be like slicing my finger with a mandolin.
Oh,
like the thing you slice apples, potatoes, onion, like whatever with.
Yeah,
that would probably be the silliest one. I don't think I've had anything that's too silly. I've had some, like, obviously stubbing your toes or hitting your elbows in situations you probably shouldn't be. It's like, hey, it's like you're just walking through a door. You've done it a billion times in your life. Like, why did you jam your knee into it this time? That's never fun. But other than that, nothing too crazy.
Hey, when that door frame comes out of nowhere.
It's always when you're pissed too. Like, it's always when you're having the worst day and you bang your knee into the table. Next thing you know, like you're flipping your grandparents' pictures over because you're just so mad. Like, you just need to throw something.
Or like when your belt loop hooks on something when you're having a really bad day. You know that?
You rip your pants off like you're Randy Orton or something. You're just so pissed about it. Another classic one.
Cat Dad says, Connor, you're gonna make right-hand turns all the way home. I wish I could. I got to do a couple left-hand turns. Like I'm on YouTube right now. Don't want to like fully do it, but like I'd like to like full turn the body. It was so tight when I was leaving the house today. Kind of loosened it up just a little bit, but getting there. Fuzzy said, I once fractured my right hand punching the wall. Now, what led to that? That would be the question. Was it, sports? Was it just punching the wall for no reason? Marksman said, Dad made me weed whack the lawn hungover as a teenager. String was too long, too lazy to get a proper tool. Tried cutting the excess with an axe, lost the tip of my thumb. The sound was gross. I can imagine, Marksman. That would be a tough one to explain. Yeah, just chopped off part of my thumb. But hungover activities, probably not necessarily the best one. Was that LeBron James punching the wall? Does LeBron have an issue with punching the wall? Triple C in a truck? I have not heard that one. But any silly injuries you might want to get to, let us know. 1-833-401-1440. You can confess it. Let it out. Husk says, boys, I was on family holidays in Fairmont getting out of the shower before golf and reached for the towel and threw my back out. Spent one day laying on the ground, and then my son with his head open. It was time to head home. 3 days early.
Obviously, horribly sad. Hope your son's okay. That seems to me to be a modern family storyline.
Is it?
I don't know.
Something
Like,
Phil done to you,
no.
dude?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's something that would happen in that show. Like, Phil throws his back out, then Luke splits his head open. You know what I mean? Like, very, very sitcom-esque injuries. And then canceling your vacation 3 days early as well.
The worst thing, like, because I talked to some of the older people here, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that'll happen. It'll be fine in 2 weeks." Like, I don't have 2 weeks. I got to get back in action ASAP. So, pulling your back or throwing your back out, grabbing a towel, asks, that's a tough one. John says, threw my back out watching football. Herniated disc celebrating a touchdown. Was that throwing up like the touchdown sign or standing up? Like, I don't want to live in a world where I have to stand up slowly for the rest of my life.
That's an awesome way to throw your back out, though. Like, your team just scored. I'd throw my back out any day doing that.
Then you just drop down.
Buddy, one Keon Coleman touchdown.
That's all it takes.
Be the same again.
Brad says he strained his back sneezing multiple times. Yeah, I've heard of that happening. Some sneezes really get you. Triple C in a truck at a tournament in Kimberley playing keep up in between games for no reason. Pulled out of a slide tackle on a friend and slid into one of those water valves that pop out of the ground. Oh, sliced my leg down. This terminology. All the way to the meat.
Yeah.
Triple C in a truck. That's a tough one. I had a buddy who ran into playing touch football at Sylvan Lake. Ran into like a thing that was set to hold the volleyball net down. Just like a metal clip. Toe into it. Boom. Right to the hospital. Fuzzy says when he punched it was a family argument. Cairo, best way to get back to full health. The Cairo scares me though. Cracking backs. I just imagine that like he cracks down on me and all of a sudden I'm gone. I'm seeing black. Jonathan says, as a Raiders fan, combo, touchdown and jumping up. Well, yeah, the Raiders don't score very often, so I can see why you would celebrate in that fashion when it happens. I wonder what the score was when it happened. Were they down 38-0? I'm a Chargers fan, Jonathan. I apologize. Got to take those shots when I can.
Which way was Austin Eckler pointing?
Oh, yeah, that was a bad game, wasn't it? Touche. But you know what? You know who was fired immediately after? Brandon Staley.
The GOAT.
And Tom Telesco. I didn't hate Tom Telesco, but Brandon Staley had to go. It got us Harbaugh. So thank you, Raiders. Coach Al. Hungover in grade 10, 11, 12. Was worse than sitting in class bored. Thick. Reeking of booze. Yeah, that wasn't me. I was not a partier in high school. Slurpy Sean said, I went to game 3 against the Kings this year, stood up to celebrate the Oilers' first goal. Next thing I knew, I woke up 2 rows down. I had only 1 beer at that point. I just completely fainted. My ribs were sore for 2 weeks. Oh, man. Slurpy Sean, that's scary. As someone who has fainted twice in their life, that is never a good feeling. Glad you're okay. Glad you could walk it off. Fuzzy says, I've got chronic back issues. Cairo is the only thing that helps. Okay, well, I might look into it. I might talk to Grant Fedoruk down at Leading Edge Physio, see if they can heal me. Slurp texting in, Dustin Penner threw his back out eating pancakes. Yeah, when it comes to sports injuries, Dustin Penner's got to be the top. Who was the player for Washington? Was it Gus Farad who threw his helmet or his head into the wall?
Yeah.
Fractured his neck. There was the punter there was Grammatica jumping, like tore the ACL. The punter who, with the axe in the room, chopped their leg. There's been a lot of silly injuries in sports. Was it Eric Johnson who rolled the golf cart? Hockey player?
Jason Pierre-Paul as well.
Najee Harris. Fireworks
guys. Big Patriots.
Good thing for Jason Pierre-Paul when he blew his hand up for the Giants at the time. At least he's an edge rusher. You don't need all your fingers. Doesn't help to lose them, but at least he wasn't a receiver or anything like that.
Also, moment of growth. Doesn't let his son use fireworks now.
Man, I would be staying so far away from fireworks. Slurpy Sean says Joe Sakic mowing his lawn. Yeah. Was it? I thought it was a snowblower for Sakic. Either way, do not stick your hand in those things. Power down. Okay, TJ also saying it was lawnmower. Yeah, turn the power off, turn them upside down, I think, and then examine once they're not moving. But, oh my gosh, Joe Sakic needs those digits to keep doing what he's doing. I keep those rolling in here, 1-833-401-1440. We'll get to those in our next segment. We're also all going to be joined by Zach Lang from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff. We'll talk some Oilers, get his thoughts on the Blue Jays, maybe a little NFL as well, as he is known as a big Chicago Bears fan. All that and a whole lot more. We'll have 5 questions with Declan Kruger. Does that mean Mount Rushmore is back? I sure hope so. Spec will be by in the final hour as well. And we'll keep the text rolling in 1-833-401-1440. Anything you guys would like to talk about. If you want to get back into Hockey Canada, of course, all 5 of the accused found not guilty earlier today out in Ontario, so we can touch on that as well. With that topic, we're not all going to agree, but we can still talk about it, hopefully, cool, calm, collected manner. Right now, though, Sports 1440 update with Declan Kruger, brought to you by 01 Hockeyology. Build your game all summer long with custom training and cutting-edge tech. Become unstoppable. Sign up now at 01.ca. That is ZERONE.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Justice Maria Karoshi has delivered her verdict on the sexual assault case against the 2018 World Junior members. All 5 players have been found not guilty and acquitted of all charges. Cody Fajardo getting the start at quarterback tomorrow night for the Elks is there in Saskatchewan to take on the Riders. Fullback Tanner Green, a game-time decision, and Jake Seresna good to go. CFL Week 8 does kick off tonight with the Alouettes at McMahon taking on the Stampeders. McLeod, Bethel Thompson will start for Montreal with Davis Alexander on the 6-game IL. MLB scores. One final from earlier was the Orioles over the Guardians, 4-3. In about 45 minutes or so time here, we will see the Blue Jays and Tigers in Detroit. Eric Lauer on the mound for the Jays. Riverhawks in action tonight. They're trying to avoid the sweep in Wenatchee against the Apple Sox. And NFL news is just quarterback Justin Field was carted off the field after suffering a non-contact injury in practice today. He is expected to be ready for week 1 and is listed as day-to-day with a toe injury. Sad news out of the sporting world is wrestling icon Hulk Hogan has passed away at the age of 71. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440 Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
When you look at a pipe, you just see a pipe. But at GS Construction, we know it's not just a pipe. It's the future water flowing to a growing family's home, or the sewer line for a new school. At GS Construction, we know every trench we dig connects people to what matters. And if you'd like to be part of that vision of making a better future, we're hiring. Right now, GS Construction is looking for experienced foremen to join our team. So apply today at gsconstruction.ca. GS Construction, underground with purpose.
Imagine a family get-together where the smiles are as genuine as the conversations. That's the feeling you get at Nisku Ford, a family-owned dealership where finding a new Ford feels just like catching up with old friends.
Make sure to swing by Nisku Ford in July to take advantage of rates as low as 0%. Or choose rebates as high as $6,000 on 2025 models.
The coffee's on, so drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca today. Above expectations.
Photographers, start your cameras. It's time for Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest. Enter your hometown snapshot and show us what makes your community amazing. Whether it's a view from the farm, a stroll down Main Street, or a weekend at the rodeo, we're looking for snapshots that show off your rural Alberta hometown. Share your photo before September 2nd for a chance to win cash prizes or a donation to your favorite community group. Learn more via Vision's Facebook page or go to whatsyourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Calling all cheddar lovers. Try Papa John's new cheddar crust one-topping pizza for only $17.99. Order online at papajohns.ca or through the Papa John's app.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Into the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. The daily grant tonight, you can win $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. It's a total of $7.3 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. Also, use your game sense. Go to GameSenseAB.ca and stay within your limits. Connor Halley, we've got Declan Kruger, Josh Fenwick with you here. Gregor off today. We'll be back tomorrow. Got a couple of funny injuries rolling in here. One is me, actually, reminded by my good friend Justin. Still to come on the show, though. We will be joined by Zach Lang of Oilers Nation Daily Faceoff, do a little Oilers talk, and then Speck will join us fresh off his annual tournament. Raised a lot of money for Sports Central, so we'll touch on that. And, of course, all the other big stories. Today, we got this one rolling in here from No Name. Send us your name. How about Tony Finau rolling his ankle, celebrating a hole-in-one, then popping it back in on TV? That's just like built different attitude right there. Justin, my good friend, says, how about when Connor Halley stepped over the railing houseboating, slipped, and his sunglasses went into his eyebrow and needed stitches? The gash looked like he was in an MMA fight. Yeah, that was me. Definitely went down houseboating. I think the water spilling from the hot tub also played a factor, and so did the alcohol consumption throughout the day. But yeah, shout out to my other buddy, Steve, who as we took a water taxi back into town, $500. So I went to the hospital, got a couple stitches. He went and grabbed us the cash to pay for the water taxi. And the guys who were operating it on the way back were like, yeah, the price is set. It's $500. So we can't give you any cheaper of a deal, but we'll grab you a case of beer, as if I needed more. So it was kind of nice heading back from the town we were into it was Salmon Arm, back to the shoe swap, wherever we were on the beach, the case of beer with these guys. Pitch black, could not see a thing. Had we hit anything, it was game over. But what a good experience, Justin. Thanks for reminding me. I totally forgot about that one. And if you see me on YouTube and my eyebrow looks a little weird, that's the story behind it. Mark in St. Albert went to Metallica concert at Commonwealth with his son-in-law, who passed out in the mosh pit area. Oh, sorry, Mark passed out. His poor son-in-law thought he had a heart attack. Ooh, yeah, that'd be scary. That'd be a tough place for it, too. I imagine it gets kind of rowdy down in the mosh pit, especially with Metallica. Side note, I hope Metallica does the halftime show for the upcoming Super Bowl. I think that would be a good one. We are going to talk a little CFL here with Speck and Zach Lang, but Declan, I want to bring you in. Of course, you've got the Elks Nation going on with Eddie Steele, 2 episodes a week on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast from. You were down at practice for the walkthrough, also down at practice yesterday. What are your takeaways going into this one? They had the bye week. This is a massive game for them. Like, if you're making predictions, and I'm sure we'll do that tomorrow, I don't know how many people would be rolling with the Elks in this one, but what are you thinking about this game? What have you been seeing the last couple of days down at practice?
Well, the first thing was my takeaway was, even though Trey and Cody were truly splitting reps, I felt like Cody was going to get the start. Like he was running through things in a few more situations that seemed a little indicative of what they're going to be running in game. Just like a little bit more realistic, if you want to use that word. It seems like listen, I asked Coach Killam today, I said, what are the anxieties level like? And he said, there's no anxiety. We're prepared. Confidence comes from preparation. And I do believe they go into it with that mindset. I obviously think he's true to his word there, but I still think there might be a touch more to it than that. I think they have to, rightfully understand that they're a 1-4 team. You look at the teams at the top of the Western Division, Calgary and Saskatchewan look heads and tails class of the league. Winnipeg's only losses this year are to Calgary. The team you would kind of put in the same tier with them, if you want to call it that, is BC, and BC's beaten you twice. So I think they have to know that things are, there is some pressure on the shoulders. And I think they were wearing that. Guys were intense in practice. They were flying around down there. The defense was making a lot of plays on balls. They were, celebrating the big plays, the big victories. They were playing as a unit. They were playing with a lot of intensity. And I think they know that, like I said, there's some, pressure that comes with this one, because you lose this one and all of a sudden you're sitting at 1-5. You're going to be 0-4 versus the rest of the division. You haven't played Calgary yet. You've You'll only have had one against Winnipeg and Saskatchewan. Like it'll be a tough uphill climb. So yeah, I don't know. Listen, confident, prepared. I get that. I agree with that. I see that, but I do think there's some understandable nerves going into this one.
Preparation, Declan. Preparation is like having a plan, right? And everyone has a plan until what happens?
You get punched in the face. So Mike Tyson quote.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly it. Like you can do something and then it might not work because maybe the other team just has an answer for it. Then that's what I want to see. What can this team do if they face a little adversity? They fall down early on, something's not working. How do you react? How do you adapt to it and go forward? And that's something I don't think we've seen this season, going into the second half where it's like, oh, they've changed this. It looks a little bit better. Like if anything, games have gotten worse in the second half with the exception of maybe a game here and there.
Yeah, like the Montreal game, they obviously had that huge fourth quarter. The first game of the season against BC, like they gave it away in the second half. This one against BC, like Cody came in and scored, but generally speaking, like it wasn't a great second half either. Like they haven't really been. They had the one good third quarter as well against Montreal defensively, but they haven't really been a first half or a second half team. You know what I mean? So, and it's like they're going into a tough place to play against a really good football team. Like they have the benefit of coming off the bye week, but nothing's easy, and it's going to be a tough one. I'm looking forward to see what they can do and how they're going to show it in this one.
Yeah, me too. I'm really intrigued, and I think Cody Fajardo at this point in their careers gives him the best chance at winning. We think of him as an older guy in the league. He's 33 years old. I mean, he's still he still got a lot of good football, I think, in front of him. He's extremely accurate. Some might say the most accurate in league history if you go by the numbers. And last year with Montreal, appearing in 14 games, he completed 73% of his passing yards. That's a number that's increased his last 4 seasons since 2020. So I think that's something that's pretty intriguing. And, last year, through 16 touchdown passes, avoided the interceptions, kept it less than double digits at just 7. So I think he's someone that, he's going to go in here. You're not going to confuse him. And I think that might have been something for Trey Ford, Declan. You might notice when he's out there, he doesn't have as many games played. Hasn't got to see all the looks. I think when you get Cody Fajardo out there, not only is he going to be tougher to fool, but I feel like you can also maybe open up the playbook a little bit for him just because, he's got the repetition.
I also just think one thing with Cody that Trey has been so inconsistent with, and I like Trey, like I'm a pro Trey guy, but one thing Trey's been really inconsistent with is his touch. Like he has missed throws that he no question should be hitting. And Cody doesn't seem to have that, to the same. Like obviously you're not going to complete 100% of your passes. You're going to miss some balls. That's going to happen. But Cody just seems to be a little bit more consistent in some of Trey's key areas of inconsistency.
And it could, like, if things go well for the Elks and, Cody Fajardo plays well, you stick with him, and then it's just going to open up a whole new can of worms. What do you do with Trey Ford? He just signed the new contract. Was at least convinced to stay. I don't know, how serious it was that he could potentially go elsewhere, but this was the opportunity for him, and it hasn't worked out. And you kind of feel for him in a way because he's the guy who's getting all the discussion. But holy cow, the defense has been so bad this year.
Hey, I've been discussing the defense my days.
Yeah. Now, did you see Serezna out there? Because he had the injury. He came back, popped the knee back in. That's wild to me. Gets the interception, then leaves on a cart. And that could have been more so like, hey, we don't want him to put pressure on it. But usually that's a pretty bad sign. He's only missing, 1 week with the bye. He's going to be good to go. How did Serezna look at practice?
He looked like a full participant. Like he was good. He was moving around. He was obviously like walk through today. It's just walk through. But yesterday when he was a full participant, he was flying around. Like I said, defense was really intense. He was a big part of that. When he was on the sidelines, he was working with the dummy there. Like he looked like a guy who didn't just have to pop his knee back in, and he looked like he was someone who was ready to go. I asked Coach Killam about it today, but it wasn't like, I knew it wasn't even really a question just because of how he'd been practicing and how he'd looked yesterday.
G texting in 1-833-401-1440. So you're saying the Elks only need to improve 2 things, the first and the second half. If it's only that simple. Yeah, absolutely. Could do better on both ends, I'd say.
I'll raise you another one, G. The offense and the defense. Need to see improvements there.
Special teams gets a pass in this one. Although the first game, it was not great in terms of kicking. Neil texting in, I don't know if this is just my perception, but it seems like a lot of the young quarterbacks that have stepped up and stepped in have done it right away. They've just stepped in and done it, seemingly almost no development needed. Well, I mean, like the one that is always going to step up was Ricky Ray. He hit the ground running. He had an outstanding offensive line and a really good group of receivers back in the day. Hervey, Terry Vaughn. You had Tucker step in eventually. They brought in Mookie Mitchell over from Toronto. You had Brock Ralph out there. He's one I would, maybe an outlier. Cody Fajardo, let's just look at him. In his first 3 seasons in Toronto, he did not, first 3 in the league, 2 in Toronto, 1 in BC, didn't start a game. Got in, spot duty, did some rushing, the short yardage plays. Goes to Saskatchewan, starts 16 games. Declan, I don't have to tell you, 12-4 on the season, 18 touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good season. The next year is lost due to the COVID year. Follows that up with an okay season, 14 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 2022. Career high in interceptions, 16 and 13. I mean, I'm trying to think, when you look at the quarterbacks around the league, Jeremiah Masoli, who had a pretty good run.
Washed now, though.
He had a few years in Edmonton where, that's where he started, couldn't take the job. Nathan Rourke, a pretty quick start for him. Obviously led him going back to the NFL. You look at Trevor Harris. Who else do we got out there? Kalaros. I think all these guys take a couple of years, especially, going from the American game to the Canadian game, figuring out the rules. It might seem quick, but I think for most of these guys, it is a couple of year process to really understand the game and I guess acclimate yourself to the rules and getting the motion down, all the different things in the game. I don't think it's too quick for most quarterbacks.
No. I would agree. It, like when you're, a professional and you're in those rooms, like it can be a pretty quick and easy transition. And I think, yeah, you see that.
Hacksaw says, buddies, it's not Ford's inability to read defenses that is his biggest issue. It's that when he makes the correct read, he only puts the ball where it should be about half the time. Absolute morale killers, I suppose. Yeah, I've seen that a few times, Hacksaw. And I think he can make the right reads, but I don't know if it's second guessing or wanting to pull the ball down and run. But there's been a few times I just wish he'd get it out quicker and trust his read and just sling it, trust your natural abilities. Because it's out there. And, sometimes we've seen the overthrows, which have been a problem. And then going away from it when it doesn't work. If your receivers are beating DBs, I'd like to keep it going. Keep hitting it there. JC says, guys, is Seresna a cyborg? I thought his season was done after watching him get carted off last game. So did I. I mean, I said it to a few people. When you see that happen, you cart it off and the teams come out, typically it's like, okay, that's a blown ACL or a broken leg. I thought it was done. And, Seresna had the interception, right? Like he's a guy that they can count on, I think, to be that X factor on the defensive line. So yeah, I'm going to be watching him in this game to see what he can do. And they're going to need it. They need to generate a pass rush. They spent money there on that defense and it's just not getting the job done. And frankly, we haven't seen too much improvement. So getting that figured out is going to be massive. Been texting in, hey guys, you got thunder over there? Well, our studio is a building inside a building. we inside a building, actually. We're inside West Ed. We're inside the separate Stingray studio, and then we're in our own little area. We can't see anything. So I couldn't tell you for sure. I know there was some severe storm watching out there. Some warning. It's raining outside, allegedly, from our staff meteorologist, Josh Fenwick. Checking his Apple app. Looks like we might be getting a little bit of a storm. I don't know if you guys have noticed it. You can let us know. 1-833-401-1440. Again, if you didn't want to come out and watch the game with me at the Elks watch party tomorrow, we're going to be at First Round downtown. I'll get some flack for this, but I'm going to order the boneless wings there. Salt and pepper with a side of ranch. One of my favorite things when I used to host Monday Night Football at First Round here in the mall. A great hit. The milkshake's delicious. The burger's outstanding. So if you want to come down and join us, we'll do some trivia. We'll do giveaways. Cheer team will be down there. Lots of good stuff if you want to come down for the Elks watch party tomorrow. 7 o'clock kickoff. Elks taking on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. We will take a break here. When we come back, we'll be joined by Zach Lang of Oilers Nation. Talks about Oilers offseason with him. Maybe some Blue Jays. Anything you want to ask him. Send those texts in here. You can also email me, Connor at sports1440.ca. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Out on the rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave you with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best live DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget
$5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party, your on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Jeff Brab and 118th.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
The dog days of summer means baseball. Every weekend, Sports 1440 carries Toronto Blue Jays ball games. Ben Shulman will have the call. Grab a cold one and tune in this weekend to Blue Jays baseball on Sports 1440.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties, including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League's Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle.
Troll out down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Farm, ranch, acreage, or lake lot. They're here to help at Batshaw Concrete Products. Family owned and operated for 60 years. They continue to provide the best products and service, period. Call now for your free quote on the highest quality ready mix and gravel, a new septic tank, or an outhouse pad and tank, plus precast cattle water pads, garage sumps, and more. Call 780-372-3854 for prompt delivery. Batshaw Concrete Products, 780-372-3854. BatshawConcrete.com.
Feeling stressed? Tired of the daily grind? You could try yoga. Nah, just whack a golf ball as hard as humanly possible with 18 holes of pure therapy at Colonial Golf Club. Stunning fairways, the Colonial Grill and Bar, and the satisfaction of blaming your putter for all your problems.
Take that, Dave from accounting.
Colonial Golf Club. Cheaper than therapy and way more fun. Book your tee time now at colonial.ca. Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Jump on OTR's party shuttle buses to Elks games, Riverhawks games, and concerts at Commonwealth. To see all upcoming events, visit ontherocksyag.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Thank you guys for tuning in to the Jason Gregor Show today. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Josh Fenwick with you here. Jason will be back tomorrow to wrap up the week. The Jason Gregor Show is brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Use code word Gregor50 and get your $50 deposit when you make your deposit at playalberta.ca. Make sure to use your game sense. Lots to get to still on the show. We will be joined by Mark Spector later on in the program. Talk a little bit about the Hockey Canada ruling. Of course, all 5 players found not guilty earlier today out in Ontario. We'll talk to him about the Toronto Blue Jays playing some fantastic baseball. I keep waiting for them to fall off. That's the negativity in me. I'm happy to eat crow if they don't. I want to see them keep it going here, but the Blue Jays playing some fantastic baseball, taking on the Tigers today. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more. And Declan Kruger running 5 questions. You know what that means? Mount Rushmore returns. I think he'll have a good one today on it. But right now, we'll get to Around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. You can cool down with $2 sundaes and snack size shakes, or check out the McDonald's app for an exclusive $1 cone deal. Taxes extra, prices exclude delivery only at McDonald's. And they have the international menu. That McFlurry is so good. Make sure you go check it out at McDonald's. We bring in Zach Lang from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff. Zach, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Connor, I'm doing well, thank you. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you guys keeping busy over at Oilers Nation in the off season?
Oh man, lots on the go. I mean, it's the middle of the summer, so the feet are up a little bit. The hours are a little fewer these days, but lots of stuff we got going on right now. I'm running through a big player review series, looking at every player that played for the Oilers pretty much last season and how they did. Something we're really excited for, though, is we're doing a top 100 Edmonton Oilers of all time here coming up soon. So this was actually something that the late Robin Brownlee did about 10 years ago. We kicked it off. Took him about 2 years to finish up the entire 100 list. But our goal is to do the top 100 Oilers in 100 days. So we'll be flying through that here starting soon. That'll take us right into hockey season in October. So really, really excited about that one. It's going to be a really cool project that we got on the go.
That will be fun. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to throw that out to our listeners right now. Who are your top 5 Oilers of all time? Because I think, we know who they're going to be, but the order could change person to person. And then when you guys are getting 100 to, let's be honest, 40, those are going to be some names. That's going to be really intriguing. Looking forward to that. So, follow along with Oilers Nation for that one. Let's talk about the team, the offseason they've had so far. And I just wanted to bring you on to talk about some of the new players and how you think they're going to fit this year with the team, and some players coming over from Europe, trade, players from the collegiate level, AHL. There's lots of opportunity with this Oilers team, and then in free agency as well. And I thought they brought in a lot of guys who bring in some versatility. But I want to start off with Ike Howard, a former first-round pick of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Of course, they made the trade earlier in the offseason, and some people project him playing in the top 6. He's a shooter, known as the Iceman. Where do you think he's going to fit into the lineup this season, and what are realistic expectations?
Yeah, it's a great question to ask. Honestly, it's kind of hard to project, right? I mean, a college guy from the NCAA ranks jumping up into the NHL, it's a pretty big leap. I think ideally it would have been great for him to maybe get his feet wet in the American Hockey League, but he seems pretty set on being an NHL player himself. I think the Oilers are very willing to give him a look there as well. I see him as a top 6 guy. I don't necessarily know if that's going to be immediately or not, but look, this is a guy who is a pure goal scorer. If you look through any of the highlight reels that are up on YouTube or anywhere else on the internet, this guy's got a shot that already looks pro level. This is something that the Oilers have kind of missed in the top 6 here, especially this last season. They haven't really had a pure shooter. You look at a guy like Zach Hyman. Yeah, he's a goal scorer. Yeah, he put up 50 goals in the regular season last year, a little more than that actually. But I wouldn't really consider him to be a sniper of sorts, right? And even a guy like Leon Draisaitl, who's probably got the best shot in that top 6, is also a guy I wouldn't really consider a pure sniper either, because he's so good as a playmaker and his two-way game has really, really evolved over time. So I think for that reason that Ike Howard has a spot in the top 6, of course, he's going to have to earn it and prove that he's, worthy of playing up there with a guy like Leon Draisaitl or maybe even Connor McDavid. But I do think that there's a home for him in the top 6.
Last season, we saw Vasily Podkolzin, hang around with Leon Draisaitl for a good chunk of the year. And I don't think that happens by chance. I mean, I think Leon Draisaitl vouched for him saying, hey, this is a guy I want on my line, can win puck battles, responsible. But he wasn't putting up maybe the goal total I think that people had expected. And we know this offseason, the Oilers adding a skills coach. What do you think Vasily Podkolzin can do offensively? And let's just say, best case scenario, how much can he contribute playing with Leon Draisaitl if it happens again?
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a guy who still found a way to be a contributor within the top six. 8 goals and 24 points in 82 regular season games for the Oilers, 3 goals, 10 points in 22 playoff games. So he still found a way to chip in some offense. I think, of course, you'd like to see some more goals from him. 8 goals playing in the top six is a little bit too low for my liking for sure. But look, this is a guy who does so many things right out there on the ice. I was a huge fan of Jesse Puljujärvi when Puljujärvi was here in Edmonton. And I really loved him because of his two-way game and how good he was defensively and in the neutral zone at breaking up the pucks and getting it to the skilled playmakers of the Edmonton Oilers. And I think that's something that Podkolzin has done incredibly well here in his first year in Edmonton. This is a guy who we've seen him be able to drop the mitts, cough, cough, Jeremy Lauzon getting knocked out there. But this is somebody who's not afraid to go into the corners, battle for pucks, dig them out. And he does a good job of getting them to the skilled players too. I think this is absolutely a guy who has a fit in the top six here as well. I really like the look of him alongside Leon Draisaitl there. Two guys who aren't necessarily fast by any means, but they can slow the game down a little bit. And I think you have that to contrast with the top line of Connor McDavid and whoever's alongside him, because obviously McDavid has speed like no other in the NHL. So I think it helps provide a little bit of balance to that top six. Podkolzin for me, top six guy for sure.
Now, Matthew Savoie, another guy we can look at and what he was able to do in his brief time with the Oilers at the NHL level. I mean, we're all going to look back at that play. The puck retrieval behind the net, gets it out to Leon Draisaitl, just a little bit of a taste. Do you think he can be someone who's in the top six for the majority of the season?
Yeah, I think so. Similarly to Ike Howard, he's going to have to earn it. In the same breath, I think Savoie maybe has a little bit of a better shot early on to play within that top six because of the fact that he's got some pro experience now from a solid year with the AHL's Bakersfield Condors. We saw him get a little bit of a stint in the NHL and he looked really good. I mean, I remember when, he came up and it was kind of like, okay, yeah, we'll see what he can do. And, like you mentioned, that assist that he had really highlighted that skill set that he's got. I think he's a guy who definitely could be playing alongside Draisaitl as well. I think it's going to be interesting to see, the way the Oilers and the coaching staff kind of shake this out. Do you want Ike Howard up there with McDavid, Savoie on that second line? You've got some insulation now with McDavid and Draisaitl. They're two guys who have been around the game for a very long time now. I think the thing for me with Savoie is it feels like he's going to have a bit of a bigger impact early on than a guy like Ike Howard did, just because of the fact that he's already got some pro games under his belt. So really curious to see what happens with Savoie this year. I could see him coming in and having a 50-point season this year. And if he's able to do that, that would be really, really nice for this Oilers team.
Joined by Zach Lang of Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in for Jason here across X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching. Shout out, hit that like button for us. Another name that I really liked that they brought in was Andrew Mangiapane, and a guy who, at his best had 35 goals with the Flames. I'm not saying he's going to repeat that, but I think a guy who you can count on for 10 to 15, 20 goals, potentially can jump up into the top six if needed. Where do you like him going into the lineup this year?
Yeah, I could see him as a third line guy. Also somebody who I think will compete for top six spots alongside Howard and Savoie. It's going to be interesting with Mangiapane. He's a little bit more of a project at this point, which is kind of weird to say because he's been around the game for, quite a while now. He's had some really solid years with the Calgary Flames, but prior to his last season in Calgary, he had shoulder surgery that he's even said really kind of impacted him and changed his game around and how comfortable he was, especially with shooting the puck. We look at what happened last year in Washington offensively. His two most common line mates were Nick Dowd and Lars Eller. Not exactly two guys that are very known for their offensive prowess or for putting up a ton of points. So Mangiapane's numbers took a bit of a hit last year. I still thought he was able to create some good chances. His underlying metrics were still pretty solid, which was always something that he's been really, really strong at. It's going to be, I'm curious to see where he fits into this lineup and how that shoulder's feeling for him now, because he's a guy who can be a high volume shooter. And I think that's something that the Oilers definitely need to get. So I think for Mangiapane, let's say top 9 for him. I could see him sliding around quite a bit.
Now, Oil King legend Curtis Lazar signed with the team as well, a guy who, I just think versatility and maybe that perfect guy for that 13th forward. Do you think he's going to be a guy who pushes to get into the lineup or maybe in the 13th forward spot?
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens there with him too. I mean, this is a guy who, coming off a knee injury that he's still kind of trying to work his way from way back from last season. He's going to be competing for a spot on this fourth line. When I look at Lazar, I also have to bring up a guy like Noah Philp here because they're two guys who are kind of going to be competing for the same spot, whether that's, fourth line center or fourth line right wing. The thing with Noah Philp is that, at 26 years old, he's now eligible for waivers this fall. So if Philp doesn't make the team out of camp, they're going to have to place him on waivers and risk losing him. And I know we always have the conversations, every September and October of, oh, this is the next guy who has to be claimed on waivers and everybody's going to be clamoring for him. And the guy always ends up sliding through waivers and everybody's like, oh, well, maybe he wasn't so hyped. When I look at Philp, I think he's a guy who definitely could be claimed, though, because, he's still young at 26 years old. He's a big body. He's got size to him, solid in the faceoff dot in the American League, and he's a right shot center. And this is something that teams absolutely covet. So it's going to be really interesting to see the way these guys kind of compete for these spots. When I look at it, I think I'd like to see both Philp and Lazar on the NHL team this year. And I think both of them are guys who could play, within that 50 to 60 game range, kind of rotating through and getting some reps both ways. Lazar specifically, I think even though, he struggled offensively and the offensive numbers really took a dip for him last season, his defensive numbers were still really, really strong. In the 50th and plus percentile among forwards who played similar amount of ice times as him. So this is somebody that I'm looking to as a guy who's going to be kind of hungry coming into camp this season to earn his spot and really regain a home in the NHL.
Zach Lang of Oilers Nation joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Now, Zach, you go to the back end there, and I think Matthias Ekholm, we're hoping he's healthy and, know that he can do, if he's healthy, Evan Bouchard, Darnell Nurse, Kulak, and Wallman. To me, I think we all know what you're going to get from those players. The wild card could be Ty Emberson if he takes another step forward. Alec Regula, another guy who I think some people are believers in and want to see him, get his shot to make this team. But I just want to ask you, who do you think is going to be that sixth defenseman and maybe who is the seventh?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see this spot too. I mean, there's a lot of really interesting battles coming into training camp this year for the Edmonton Oilers. When I look at the blue line, I think it's pretty set though. I mean, Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Kulak, Wallman, probably Ty Emberson for me. Ty Emberson's still a guy who's pretty young here in the NHL, kind of finding his way in the pro ranks. I thought he was a pretty solid player for the Oilers last season. There was evidently some drop off in his game a little bit in the playoffs where the Oilers coaching staff didn't really see the same fit that they necessarily did throughout the regular season. But you know what? That's fine because he's still got a taste of what the NHL playoffs were like, playing against the LA Kings, a couple of games against the Vegas Golden Knights as well. And then he kind of got to sit back and take it all in and really learn a lot from what was going on out there. Troy Stecher, obviously a guy who's going to be in the mix here. I think he's probably the seventh defenseman, a guy like Arto Lepinen. I'm just not really sure what this guy is at this point in time. There's Alec Regula as well. I think these are guys who are probably going to be starting the year down in Bakersfield with the Condors and really fighting for a chance to kind of get up to the NHL team here. I think the leash is going to be fairly short on that number 6 spot. So, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here come training camp because, Emberson is a guy who probably still could be beaten out of that spot and come trade deadline. If the others don't really feel comfortable enough in Emberson going through into the playoffs, that's a spot they could really look to trade and look to make a trade and try and upgrade upon.
Now, Zach, I know you've covered the Blue Jays as well, playing some of their best baseball that we've seen this season, taking 2 of 3 from the New York Yankees, now turning their attention to the Tigers, which is actually a big series because along with Houston, right in there for the top spot in the AL. Trade deadline a week away. Any areas you would be targeting to try to upgrade or maybe even just add depth?
Yeah, I think when you look at this Blue Jays team, it's kind of impressive the way that they've been playing here. If the top of the lineup is going, that's great news for the Blue Jays. You always want to see the top of the order getting going, but they've gotten so much from the depth pieces on this team, especially if you look through the 6 through 9 spots in the order here. I mean, guys have just been cycling through and really contributing in big ways. I think offensively, a guy that I keep coming back to is Eugenio Suarez, third baseman from the Arizona Diamondbacks. I mean, this guy has had an incredible season, and there's been a ton of power in that bat for him this season. So, I think the Jays are in a position where they really could just go all in this season. I mean, they have a realistic shot at winning the division right now. They've really handled business well, especially against the New York Yankees here, a team they'll be competing for that top spot in the division for. You know, the way that I look at it is this might be a year to kind of go all in a little bit. You know, at the end of the day, you've got a guy in Bo Bichette, a pending free agent, you know, this winter, and you've got to try and convince him that this is a place that he wants to stay and play baseball. You know, he's had a really solid season so far for the Jays as well, coming back from, you know, a really injury-plagued 2024 season. So his bounce back has been really nice to see. And same with that of George Springer. I mean, again, this is a guy who, you know, 12 months ago, we were sitting here talking and it's like, wow, this is the age curve really hit this guy hard. He really did not have a good year last year, but he's feeling rejuvenated. He's looking rejuvenated, and they've gotten great stuff from their pitching rotation as well here. I mean, Eric Lauer, we're going to see him on the mound tonight against the Detroit Tigers, this lefty guy who nobody really knew what he was, but he's come in and looked like a top, almost like a top of the rotation guy for the Toronto Blue Jays. So, you know, they could attack the pitching market too. I know there was some rumblings this week about Dylan Cease, the starting pitcher from the San Diego Padres, potentially shaking loose. If the Jays really want to go at a top of the order guy, I mean, that would be a really, really interesting player to swing a trade for.
Now, Zach, before we let you go, I got to ask you about your Chicago Bears as well. A year or two with Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson coming in as the new head coach. And man, the offensive weapons are exciting. Tough division, though. When you're looking at this team going into the upcoming season, where do you think they finish in the tough NFC North?
Oh man, that's a great question. I mean, there's realistically a way for them to finish in any of the spots within this division here, but I can really see them, you know, competing for, you know, that second, third spot and finding a way to squeak into the wild card picture here. I'm really excited to see what happens here with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. I thought Williams really got the short end of the stick last year in his rookie season. Shane Waldron was an absolute disaster, you know, as an offensive coordinator for him. The coaching staff as a whole was an absolute disaster last year for the Chicago Bears. So, you know, for me, I've kind of got some pretty high expectations coming into this year, especially offensively, because, you know, by the end of last season, you could really start to see Caleb Williams kind of learning the game and coming into his own as a starting quarterback in the NFL. You know, there's some interesting new weapons there, some interesting new coaching staff with Ben Johnson, who's really talked a lot about, you know, wanting to build this offense around what Caleb Williams is able to do. You know, in the draft, I thought it was really interesting to see them attack, you know, the offensive side of the ball too. You know, they take Corton Loveland early in the draft. They get Luther Burden, the wide receiver, in the second round. And it's just adding more weapons to this offense for a young quarterback and Caleb Williams to kind of grow around. So for me, the future's bright. You know, I think they'll be competing for this wild card spot. You know, obviously the aspiration is to win the division. How realistic is that? I'm not entirely sure heading into this season, but nonetheless, you know, it really feels like there's a pretty bright future here for the Chicago Bears team. Finally.
I'm with you. Just that division. I mean, every team, maybe with the exception, like Jared Goff is still young, but he's the vet of that group. But like, yeah, McCarthy and you got Jordan Love, Caleb Williams. That's going to be a fun division for a long time to watch. Zach, thanks a lot for doing this today. Really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to the top 100 Oilers of all time. Going to be some great content.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys.
There you go. Zach Lang of Oilers Nation. Give him a follow on X at ZJ Lang. We already got some text rolling in here when it comes to the top 5 Oilers of all time. Rhino the Boilermaker saying Gretzky, Moose, Mark Messier, Coffee, Curry, and McDavid. Mark in St. Albert, Gretzky, McDavid, Draisaitl, Curry, and Messier. And then Austin Flinflon says, this is 6. Smith, Rolly, Gagne, Leon, Connor, Bassani. Top 6. I'm assuming that's your top 6. If you had to go with like top 5 or 6 in the situation of players you actually saw, that would make me a little more intrigued, because I missed Gretzky, I missed Mess, I missed Coffee, Curry, all those guys. So it'd be a little bit tougher. McDavid, Draisaitl obviously going to be in there for sure. Would Bouchard crack your list if you're a younger person? Maybe. Let us know. 1-833-401-1440. That's fun. And I'm sure like in the higher digits, we're going to get some names we haven't heard from in a while. So keep your eye out for Oilers Nation and their top 100 Oilers of all time. Shout out to a great idea from the late, great Robin Brownlee as well. We'll take a break. When we come back, it's 5 questions with Declan Kruger here on Edmonton Sports Leader Sports 1440. Jason Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk. Some jobs are easy and some jobs are not. When the going gets tough and the job is tough, GS Construction hires good people to get the job done right. So, if you know it takes teamwork, grit, and the utmost care to work underground, you just might be who we're looking for. Right now, GS Construction is hiring experienced foremen to join our crew. Apply today at gsconstruction.ca. And remember, from the first manhole to the final tie-in, we've got your back. GS Construction. Tough jobs, good people.
It's the Bricks Price Meltdown. Score hot summer savings, like up to 40% off mattresses and a 10% instant credit towards sleep accessories. Save up to $900 off sofas and sectionals and up to 25% off bedroom and dining packages. Plus, buy more, save more on select kitchen appliances, up to $500 off. Even more, find hot prices on Canadian-made pieces and get up to 15% off patio furniture. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Day or night, tasting just the right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
You have a choice, and it's a hard one. GMC employee pricing or 0% financing at Wolf GMC Buick. A hard choice, but also super awesome. Get GMC employee pricing on our Sierra lineup, from the Sierra half-ton to the heavy duties. If you have cash, get discounts over $12,000 on many of our Sierras, along with GMC pricing. Or choose 0% financing on our Sierra half-ton lineup. And what a great selection of GMC Terrains and fabulous Buick SUVs to pick from. So many choices. But one thing's for sure, you are getting the best deal at Wolf GMC Buick.
Whoop, there it is. 4 days of basketball at its best. Hoop City 2025, North America's largest FIBA 3x3 showcase. The top 4 Olympic teams on both men's and women's categories, featuring Canada's women's Olympic team with Edmonton's own Michelle and Catherine Blue. More than just hoops. There's entertainment, long-distance shootout, Grand Slam showcase, plus interactive games and prizes for everyone. Hoop City 3x3 Basketball Festival, July 31st to August 3rd. Ice Palace and West Edmonton Mall. Admission is free, so bring the whole family.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair. They'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvanceelliott.com today, because it's time to be the man you remember.
Everybody.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at Cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Also Oilers Nation, Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram. If you want to watch on Instagram. I don't think too many people are watching long-term on Instagram, but check us out all over. Make sure you give us a like as well. And a big shout out to those of you tuning in on the podcast a little bit later on this fine Thursday evening. Connor Halley sitting in for Jason. He will be back tomorrow. I got Declan Kruger and Josh Fenwick alongside with me for the ride. So we're heading towards our final hour on the show. We'll take your text, 1-833-401-1440 at the email inbox. Also, email Connor at sports1440.ca if you'd like to send me a bit of a longer one there. Spec will join us in the final hour. More text, talk some Elks. We can also talk about the ruling out in Ontario. All 5 members on trial of the Hockey Canada team from 2018 found not guilty. So we can touch on that as well. But right now, I want to get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick and the Block Party Price Meltdown. You can save up to 40% off select mattresses, plus get a 10% instant credit toward sleep accessories, 65-inch Samsung Smart TV for just $799. Save up to $900 on sofas and sectionals, all that and more at The Brick.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
Okay. Question number 1. Cody Fajardo getting the start over Trey Ford this week. We've talked about it, but I want to take it a different spin on it. What does his leash look like as the starting quarterback for you?
As long as possible. I'm so sick of going back and forth between quarterbacks. I don't think that does anything good. And honestly, I'm never been in a pro room as an athlete. I can't say for sure, but I think there's just potential to create a divide, Declan, where, some people might think, okay, this is Trey's team. We kept him around for a reason. And then you get in that vet and all of a sudden he's making throws or decisions that Trey doesn't. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, I'm more of this guy. I'm more of that guy. I think in my heart of hearts, I wish that they would have just stayed with Trey Ford and let him go through these things and try to work it out. But since that they made that decision to go to Cody Fajardo, he'd be my guy going forward until you just can't do it anymore. And I think they're, opening themselves up for a chance where if it doesn't go good, like, do you go back to Trey Ford after 1 week? What do you do? It could be a little bit of a risky situation here. So for me, if Fajardo's playing good or even close to good, I'm just rolling with him as long as he can.
Question number...
Whoa. You got to participate too, Declan. What do you think? You're on the Elks Nation podcast.
Yeah, no, listen, as far as the leash goes, it's such a tricky one for me because, like, what if he comes out and throws 4 interceptions and 125 yards and they get blown out 37-6? Do you, in good faith, go back to him the week after that against Hamilton? Conventional wisdom would suggest maybe not after that performance, but then you look at the situation that surrounds them and you think maybe you have to. So I really don't know. I give him. It's also off a bye week. Like, I think that's an important factor. I give him 2. He gets 2 bad games in a row, and then you go back to Trey. But I'm also a pro Trey Ford guy, so that has to factor in as well.
Hey, me too.
I was gonna say clue number 2. That's a how my name is thing we're doing, I guess. Question number 2. Sum up the Micah Parsons versus Jerry Jones saga in Dallas in 1 sentence or less.
Ooh. Home run. Jays trailed the Tigers 1-0 in Detroit. Sorry to interrupt.
Does that have you biased?
Don't think so. 1 sentence. How can it be like a run-on sentence?
Well, yeah, use your Oxford commas.
How about this? Pay the man. It's simple. The bar's been said. Michael Parsons, an elite edge rusher, an elite football player. I don't want to just categorize him as an edge rusher. He's an elite football player in the NFL. You got to pay him. And, I think he sets the tone for the defense for the Dallas Cowboys. We know how good elite edge rushers can be. Look no further than the Pittsburgh Steelers with TJ Watt. Totally different when he's out of the lineup. You got to keep those guys in the system, keep them happy. And I think it sends the message. We're going to draft well. We're going to keep our guys happy. Pay the man. The total's been set. You give him a little bit more than TJ Watt. He's younger. This guy can do it all. Pay him.
Love where your head's at. Very similar train of thought to you. I would say pay the man, Jerry, comma. He's probably not going to get hit by a bus, comma. His name is Micah, by the way, comma, pay the man, Jerry. I think that's the best way to sum that one up. Question number 3. Hulk Hogan sadly passed away today. Can you give me your top 3 best WWE/WWF wrestlers?
That's to limit it to 3 is the real tough part here because, hey, I say that I grew up in the golden era of wrestling. Maybe every wrestling fan would say that. There's so many good ones. Like, I could give you a bunch of honorable mention, but if I have to give my top 3 biased, these are just the guys I liked on the national stage because I can't claim to be a local circuit guy. I loved Bret the Hitman Hart. He'd be in there top 3. I would have Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Texas Rattlesnake. When his music hit, what a bump. The crowd would go crazy. When he'd fly into the ring and drop like 18 Stone Cold Stunners in a row, everybody was loving it. Like, he I think he was supposed to be a villain initially, but people just liked him too much. And I got to go with the dead man, the Undertaker. Did not love his American badass face. That was a tough spot in his storyline. But man, his early era coming out like with Paul Bearer, and sometimes they'd have like the druids with the torches. Oh, I get goosebumps. I love his entrance music. I loved everything about it. Tombstone, chokeslam, when he'd walk the top rope was unbelievable. So those would be my top 3, Duck. But man, if you open it up, we could drop some more names in there too.
No doubt.
Who you
I'd
got?
go Rey Mysterio.
He'd be my top
favorite.
5. Yeah.
Randy Orton. Who? Sheamus?
Sheamus? The
Yeah.
Irish guy? Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go those 3.
Kind of newer guys.
I'll swap out Sheamus. I'll go John Cena actually.
John Cena. Yeah, I mean, that wasn't a criticism. You can use Sheamus, but like,
No, because Sheamus could never make blockers. That movie with Leslie Mann.
Yeah.
I'm sure you saw it. I'm sure that was movie night with Benny. But John Cena could do both.
Buddy, like
one of my goats.
Yeah, good dude as well. Make a Wish. He's like blowing the record out. But like, man, Sting was so awesome when he'd come down from the roof.
Who's the one who was shaking his long hair covered in beer? I wish I had the GIF. I wish we had the GIF right now. The
like
video.
Ultimate Warrior?
No, like he was walking. He was walking
Oh,
towards
Shawn Michaels.
Okay, I'm throwing Shawn
Gets
Michaels
it with the
in there.
beer, and yeah, he was. Yeah, HBK. So many good ones. The Rock. How can you not love The Rock? Blair says Kurt Angle. Oh, great entrance music. And then the crowd would get into it and be like, "You suck," and chant it to his music. Good times.
All right, question number 4. If you could only pick one, would you want Paul Skeens pitching for your baseball team, Lamine Yamal playing for your national soccer team, or Nikola Jokic on your basketball team? I left out hockey and football because I thought those may be too easy for you, too obvious, if you will.
See, for me, there's one that stands out, and it's Nikola Jokic for my basketball team. Being one of 5 guys, I think you can work it through him quite a bit. He has no real weakness, does he? Like I'll concede to you as the basketball expert, but when I watch the Joker, I just love everything he does. Soccer, I mean, that kid's going to be a stud. He's just 18 years old. Already has the gold playing with Spain at the international level. Skeens, he's only playing once every 5 nights, a little bit more in the playoffs. So I got to go with the basketball player by default.
I think, I mean, the crazy thing is, like, Nikola Jokic on the Miami Heat, like, Tyler Herro would just take shots anyway, and Nikola Jokic wouldn't get any shots offensively, and he would throw these, like, delicious dimes to Haywood Highsmith, and Haywood would brick everything. But it would still be pretty cool to see him over there. It would give me a lot of hope.
Hey, maybe one day he wants to head to South Beach. You never know.
Legends tend to end up there. Question number 5. Mount Rushmore season is back in honor of Thirsty Thursday. Can I have your Mount Rushmore of summer drinks, alcoholic and non-alcoholic?
Looking forward to this one when we get into, because Gregor's eventually going to take a vacation, and then you and I will be here doing this probably for 2 weeks at the least. And the Mount Rushmore, very popular amongst our listeners. And I would encourage everyone to text theirs into 1-833-401-1440. For me, top 4 drinks. Okay. I don't drink that often, but like if I were to say a Bud Light Lime in a hot day, that absolutely just hits the spot. Got to go with the original. Cold glass of water, a couple ice cubes. I'm on a water kick these days, so water's going down pretty smooth. A Slurpee. I'm going to say classic Coca-Cola with a shot of cream soda at the top. And I do love energy drinks, so honestly, any kind of energy drink on a hot day, love that carbonation. So yeah, I'll go with that. Bud Light Lime, water, Slurpee, Coca-Cola with cream soda, and any energy drink that's carbonated.
Tremendous list. My 1-1 would also be Bud Light Lime. College football season, it's Bud Light Apple, but summer, it's Bud Light Lime. I'm putting Corona on there. Big Cerveza guy. Number 3, I think a bubbly of any flavor, probably one of the more tropical ones. We're talking pineapple, we're talking mango. And number 4, like when I'm really trying to just cool off, enjoy myself, maybe like a nice ice cold diet Sprite.
Oh,
yeah,
crisp. I like that one. That is a good one.
From McDonald's. It's like getting hit by a bolt of lightning. Diet lightning.
Dollar drink days, swing by, cannot beat that.
Mm.
I go for a Coca-Cola usually, classic. People in my life like to go for the Coke Zero, no ice. But yeah, McDonald's Fountain Pop, elite beverage.
Does your 97-year-old McDonald's still make Coke the old-fashioned way?
No, unfortunately.
All right.
Love that post every time I post on social media.
That was a great reference by me. It's going to be lost on a lot of people, but that was maybe the best reference we've ever had on the show.
Just type it into X and you'll get 1,000 videos from 1,000 different accounts about it. Pretty classic stuff, though. The wrestling one, getting people going. Blair's got Triple H, The Rock, and Kurt Angle. Husk says the Ultimate Warrior. Rod has Sid Vicious. Sid Vicious, man, I'm pretty sure he broke his leg at an event, and you can watch it. Crotch says when DX would randomly reunite and do the suck it to everyone, legends. Yeah, I mean, you guys were probably a little bit too young for that, but DX would do that with a hand motion. And geez, a lot of kids in my elementary school would do that. Jason says nothing beats hearing the glass break for Stone Cold Steve Austin. There's some wrestlers like Mankind who would come back as like Cactus Jack or Dude Love. Always respected Mankind because he was really good. Terry Funk, the whole lightweight division in WCW, like Rey Mysterio was my favorite, but Dean Malenko, I think Chris Jericho was in that division as well. Those guys would put on some absolutely amazing fights. The guy with the skeleton, I forget his name, was outstanding. Eddie Guerrero. How about Eddie Guerrero and Chavo? Rockford says Ric Flair. Yeah, the Nature Boy. How can you not love him? Matt says, I'm old and I love Demolition and the British Bulldogs tag teams. Yeah, tag teams were good too. The Dudley Boys, Matt and Jeff Hardy. Those guys were terrific. Anytime you had like the Hart Foundation getting together for a tag team match was always good. Good times. Fix those in 1-833-401-1440. Some of your favorite wrestlers. Sad news as Hulk Hogan passing away today at the age of 71. We also were talking about top 5 Oilers of all time. Gretzky, McDavid, the Moose, Dry, Pronger, from Gino, getting Chris Pronger in there. Yeah, I mean, for a 1 year, one and done. Pretty outstanding what he was able to do. Crotch mentions Rikishi's finisher. They call that stink face. I don't know. It's kind of gross, but you can probably find that one on the internet if you don't know what it is. Austin in Flin Flon says, boys, a cold white monster never fails. Or Bud Light Lime, cold Great West Light for my boys in Saskatchewan, or a crisp original 16. Yeah, a lot of beers go down when the temperature goes up quite easily. Oh, good one, Rodrigo. Hey, Chico. Razor Ramon, the bad guy. Yeah, I loved him as Razor Ramon. He was good as Scott Hall, too, no doubt. R.I.P. But the original NWO, Hogan, Hall, and Kevin Nash. Diesel, as he was known in his old days with the WWF. Simp says Rowdy, Roddy, Piper, Ricky the Steamboat Dragon, and the British Bulldog. Fire says Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Oh, yeah, he always bring that out. The Dynamite Kid. I like the 1-2-3 Kid as well before he was X-Pac in DX. Twitch says, Undertaker, I agree, but I'd put Macho Man ahead of Austin 316. Macho Man was good. That's Strutty's guy. Keep those texts rolling in. 1-833-401-1440. It is the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Josh Fenwick with you here from the Stingray Studios in West Edmonton Mall. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Mark Spector. Get his thoughts on a wide variety of topics. Maybe we'll have to ask him his favorite wrestlers as well. I think we've asked him before, but we might have to do it again. It is the Jason Gregor Show. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll take a break. But before that, Sports 1440 update brought to you by Red Deer Resort and Casino. Give your kids a summer to remember. Bears, beds, and belly laughs. Book the Stay Wild package at the Red Deer Resort and Casino today. Book now at reddeerresortandcasino.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Justice Maria Karosha has delivered her verdict on the sexual assault case against the 2018 World Junior Hockey Team members. All 5 players have been found not guilty and acquitted. Elks news is Cody Fajardo will get the start at quarterback tomorrow for the Elks as they are in Saskatchewan taking on his former team, the Rough Riders. Fullback Tanner Green is a game time decision, and Jake Serezna is good to go for this one. Week 8 kicks off tonight as the Elks travel to McMahon to take on the Stamps. MBT will be starting for Montreal with Davis Alexander on the 6-game IL. Jays game, they are currently down 1-0 to the Tigers in the middle of the second. The lone final from earlier sees the Orioles over the Guardians 4-3. Riverhawks in action, local baseball action trying to avoid the sweep in Wenatchee against the Apple Sox. And as just heard here on the Jason Gregor Show, wrestling icon Hulk Hogan passing away earlier today at the age of 71. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
McDonald's Sundaes and snack-size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta. DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
It's road trip season, and that means loading up on the road trip essentials like snacks, tunes, and Hondas. Sherwood Honda has fuel-efficient, dependable SUVs, hybrids, crossovers, and more to take you up, down, and all around this province and beyond. Travel in comfort and safety, going where you want to go, when you want to go, stopping to see whatever catches your imagination on the way. Summer road trips make memories that sure would last. Start yours off right at Sherwood Honda.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation. 2 weekly podcasts with Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger breaking down the green and gold. The most in-depth Double E football coverage on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts.
He's Alberta's sports authority and lead touchdown winner of his family's backyard flag football games. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Also, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Connor Halley sitting in for Jason Gregor. He will return to the show tomorrow. We got Declan Kruger and Josh Fenwick keeping us on track online and on the old AM dial. We appreciate you guys tuning in. The Jason Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight is the daily grand. You can win $1,000 a day for the next 20 years, totaling $7.3 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. Use your game sense, and if you are making a deposit, put in code word Gregor50 to get a $50 free play. Text line 1-833-401-1440. Lots to talk about your favorite wrestlers of all time. Is sad news. Hulk Hogan passing away at the age of 71. A polarizing figure for sure, but no denying the impact that he had on wrestling in the world. I was going to say in our country, in North America, all around the world. Absolutely huge with Hulkamania back in the day. Right now, we are going to get to the Spec Report with Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet, brought to you by GS Construction. They are hiring. You can work in a fantastic company that loves to promote within with great benefits, and they are huge sports fans. Apply at gsconstruction.ca. Mark Spector joins us. Spec, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Really great. Connor, what's going on, man?
Oh, not too much. Just sitting in the big chair for one day. Gregor back tomorrow. Just had a little bit of an MC duty. So happy to be here with the boys. Now, Spec, I know last year during Mount Rushmore questions from Declan, we always like to throw them your way. Today, sadly, Hulk Hogan passing away, but we got on the topic, earlier on in the segment about greatest wrestlers of all time. So I think we've asked you this before, but a refresher, who comes to mind when you talk about the GOATs of wrestling?
Well, the GOATs. When I checked out of wrestling, I was probably like about 12. So that means it was like 1977. So my greats of wrestling are like Stu Hart, right?
Oh, good name.
Would be the greatest wrestler. Archie the Stomper goalie. Andre the Giant was just showing up around then. Back in our world then didn't stretch beyond Stampede Wrestling. There was no WWE, right? It was just a bunch of guys this was Stu Hart's territory. We got Stampede Wrestling. Then they'd go across the prairies and go into some other guy's territory. They'd end up out in Maple Leaf Wrestling in Ontario, or they'd do, I forget what it was called. There's a circuit with the Rougeaus in Quebec. So we didn't have big multinational names like Hulk Hogan and Steve Austin and those guys, man. We had the guys that they wrestle down at the Sales Pavilion down at the Northlands. It was a different world, dude.
Potentially go back to their day jobs the next morning or whatever. Yeah, it's the industry is crazy how much it's grown and just made these guys into superstars, getting into movies, TV, acting. Crazy. On a much more serious note today, Spec, we got the news a lot of people had been waiting for, that the 5 players that were under investigation found to be not guilty. Dylan Dubé, Cal Foote, Alex Formanton, Carter Hart, and Michael McLeod, who faced 2 charges. And I mean, that's kind of the big story of the day here. And I can tell you on Sports 1440, it's been very polarizing. People have their opinions, and I don't think there's much change. But just wanted to get your thoughts on what do you think is next for these players? Do you think NHL teams take a look, or do you think if they want to play, it's continuing overseas?
That's a good question. I mean, the NHL, first of all, has to, they're not eligible to play in the NHL at this moment. So that's for sure a hurdle. So the first move in there, if they are to have any type of future in the National Hockey League, the first move will have to come from Commissioner Gary Bettman's office and open the door to making them eligible to be invited somewhere on a PTO or signed or whatever it may be. So I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how much pressure there is on Gary Bettman in terms of, they being found not guilty. Is he legally able to bar them from his league? I just don't know. I don't want to know. They don't pay me enough to know that stuff. So that's the first thing. They certainly would be eligible to play elsewhere in other leagues, in other countries, things like that. I guess that's a place to start. I assume that because that's their primary vocation, every one of these guys wants to get on the ice for a team, this fall somewhere. They got to start playing hockey, even if it's not the National Hockey League. I assume that's what they're thinking. I don't know that. So it'll start somewhere. I suggest it probably the next time those 5 players put on a game uniform for an organized hockey game, I suspect it will not be in the NHL. I think there will be a place somewhere else they're going to have to go first. That's how I would see it unfolding. What about you, Connor?
I'm with you. I am. And, I don't want to say, they were found not guilty. There's room for interpretation there about exactly what that means. But I don't want to say, hey, your life's ruined. Like, they're still young men. And I hope they can move forward and, have nothing like this happen, obviously, ever again and continue on with their lives. But I just don't know if it's me, if it's at the NHL level. And the only one that, a situation like this in the last 5 years that comes to mind for me would be Trevor Bauer in Major League Baseball. This guy was a Cy Young Award winner, on an all-star, an all MLB team. And after the accusations, He was found not guilty, but no teams brought him in yet. He's playing in Japan. So that's kind of, my thought process. And I've had people say that it's more than that with just Trevor Bauer. There's more to it, character concern wise, but that's just how I see it. And I think you're right. I don't think it'll be in the NHL, not to start off with. And we'll see what happens with potential reinstatement, I suppose, with Gary Bettman. Moving on to the CFL, big news this morning as Cody Fajardo was named the starter for the Edmonton Elks as they take on the Rough Riders tomorrow night. That moves Trey Ford to the bench. Did you think Fajardo would be the guy after the start of the season that we've seen so far from Trey Ford and the rest of this team?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I thought that Trey Ford would be allowed a poor start. I don't think that quarterbacking has been the reason for their 1-4 record by any means, frankly. I think he's been, in 5 games, he's been pretty good in, let's say, 3 of them. Okay in another, maybe not good enough, and not very good at all in the last one. But I don't feel like, I just feel like they got a lot of different places they need to make up ground. I don't think changing quarterback is going to make the defense any better. And I thought that, frankly, Connor, I think every one of us in the city who follows football at all with the Elks, we've all been clamoring to see them dedicate some time and some devotion and some grass time and some consistent reps to Trey Ford. Let's figure out if he can play. And he had a bad game, and they pulled the rug out from under him. They start the other guy right away. I could see the leash getting a little shorter, but I am surprised. I am surprised that they said, no, have bad game, you're out, the other guy's in. I didn't see it coming down that way, but obviously there's a lot of pressure to win, more pressure to win, I think I read into this, than there is to develop. And that's why you're going with Cody Fajardo, because you're trying to win right now.
Totally agree with you. And I just kind of get frustrated looking back at the last couple of years here that we've had with Trey Ford, and just wish he would have been had a chance to, play out those games and not get the yo-yo in and out with McLeod Bethel Thompson. It would have been good to see you let Trey Ford go through these things and take his lumps. And I've said it with Declan. I just hope that, now that they've done this, I hope they don't go back to Trey Ford immediately and just, continue what they've done in the past. If they think Trey Ford or Cody Fajardo gives them a better chance at winning, roll with him and keep it going here. The Rough Riders, a very good team. Trevor Harris coming off a really good performance last week against the BC Lions, throwing for just under 400 yards. Have you been to a game out in Regina?
Not in the new park. I've not been. I sort of stopped covering football right when they built that thing. So my experience goes back to Taylor Field. I've covered at least one Grey Cup, probably 2 in there, and some playoff games, and the odd time I used to travel around for football. But the short answer is no. It looks like a beautiful park, and would I ever love to go to a ball game there for sure, but I have not. Have you?
No. Declan Kruger is actually making the drive out there tomorrow morning, so I'm looking forward to a full scouting report. Yeah, when he gets back, taking in that game. Where was your favorite city to cover an NFL or CFL game?
Let's see. I mean, I guess it depends on what you were doing. The Labor Day Classic was always there was always hijinks. I covered that game when Ed Hervey was swinging his helmet at somebody and Dave Jameson was walking him off the field. I was honored to work, I think, only 2 games in my career in old Ivor Wynne Stadium. And you sit in the press box and you could see the stacks of the Stelco steel factory off in the distance. Covered one in the Big O. I think it was a Grey Cup, must have been. So, you know what? I'm not sure that I have a favorite place to cover games in the CFL. I guess I've never been asked that question.
Yeah, I've only been to a few markets, but yeah, Saskatchewan seems like it'd be a pretty fun one. Hamilton as well.
Yeah, Saskatchewan. What makes it? It's the fans that make it, right? It's the fans that, I've covered a bunch of games in BC, but there was only ever a good house in there when it was a Grey Cup. So I don't have any great memories of BC Place because it was usually half empty. I think today's reporter would say that about Commonwealth. I certainly was in Commonwealth when there were 65,000 people for regular season games or whatever the number was, 62 and all of a sudden that was a pretty fun place to be when there's that many people. So I think any place, it's find me a stadium in any sport in any town that you have great memories from when it's a third full. I don't think that stadium exists.
Mark Spector joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. Spec, Toronto Blue Jays picking up another win last night over the Yankees. It's early out in Detroit. They trail 1-0 in the bottom of the third. I've been someone who's been a little bit pessimistic with this team. I'm still kind of holding my breath, waiting for a bit of a collapse. We'll see what they do at the deadline here. But do you think Jays fans and maybe the critics owe Ross Atkins a little bit of an apology for the team he built this year?
Well, I'll tell you what, they criticize him a lot out there. And listen, in sports management, the proof is in your record. It's the oldest thing they say, right? You are what your record says you are. So a lot of people carving up that management team, and I've probably been one of them. And if they win a pennant this year and they go in the playoffs, then absolutely, right? That means that everybody was wrong about those guys. They've dug up some names right now, and you're watching Lauer on the mound, who's been a really effective starter this year, which nobody saw coming. You got guys like Barger, Lucas, the kid, I forget his name out in left, the Italian guy out in left field, like came up for the minors. He's helped a ton. They've really done what a good management team is supposed to do. They've developed some players here in Toronto that us in the media and certainly fans who were beaten up on management, they didn't know that these guys could play. They didn't think they would, and they are. So, the short answer to your question is, if that management team puts this team in the playoffs, you're darn right they get to look back at the fans and media and say, shut up. We told you so.
and I might be the biggest one that it has to eat crow, because I've kind of been negative about it. And a guy who I thought Bo Bichette was done. I thought there's no chance he's going to come back to Toronto. But do you think, winning this year and potentially adding some more pieces at the deadline could be enough to sway him and convince him to stay? They also gave the money to Vlad. So, they could keep that core here.
Yeah, I mean, I like that they kept Vladdy Guerrero Jr. I know he's not having a great year. I feel like when you do groom and like draft and develop a player of that import, that you kind of owe it to your fans to keep him, because they're really not a team that's going to go out and get a guy like that, right? The next giant free agent that's out there, does he come to Toronto, on an 8-year deal or whatever they signed? Probably not. So I kind of felt like you had Guerrero, your city and your market was in love with him. I think you owed it to the market to keep him. I don't know if the same stands for Bichette. I don't know if the Toronto, if they consider what he's going to want to get paid good value for that player. That's something that the management team, it's going to be a tough decision. I don't think that tell me if I'm wrong, Connor, does the market demand they sign Bo Bichette the way they did, that the Blue Jays were to sign Guerrero? Is there that much clamoring for Bo Bichette?
I don't think so. And you know what I think the difference might have been was that Vlad had kind of repeatedly said he wants to be a Blue Jay. He'll never be a Yankee, and play with like the loyalty to the fan base, to the city. So I think there's kind of like, okay, he wants to be here. He wants to be here. You got to keep him. And then with Bo, I've never got that vibe. I thought he might look elsewhere, but now that I just see how they're playing and the capabilities, and he's had success, maybe that's enough to convince him to stay for a little bit longer at the very least.
Well, he's hitting cleanup for him tonight, and he's their everyday shortstop. So it's difficult to, like, if you're going to not sign that player, you better have someone in mind. You better fill that void, because he does play an important role for this team. And I give him credit. We all, like, guys, I covered Dante, his father, when he played for the Trappers. He was coming up and down from California, and so it seems like a million years ago. But Bo Bichette is a way more complete player. He's a pretty darn good infielder defensively. He swings a really good bat, better than a lot of mid infielders do. He's got way more power than most of them. So I guess my point would be, if not him, then who are you signing to fill that void? And you better have a plan, because if you just don't sign Bo and you try to fill it in with a bunch of stuff, people are going to get a little bit sour on that note.
Now, Spec, my final question for you. We had Zach Lang from Oilers Nation on the show, and he was telling us that one of the things they're doing over the offseason is going to be their top 100 Oilers of all time, an idea that Robin Brownlee had 10 years ago and compiled his list. They're doing it again this summer. Now, the top 5, I think, for most people would consist of, the same 3 to 4 players. If I was to ask you to go 5 to 1, what would it look like?
5 to 1.
Or 1 to 5, whatever order you prefer.
Let's go 1 to 5 because it goes Gretzky, McDavid, Messier, Coffee. Fuhr, probably. I'm going to say Fuhr for 5. I'm going to put him ahead of Yeri Curry. I don't know how I do that, but no, Chris Pronger doesn't make my top 5, even though he's a Hall of Fame player. He only played 1 year here. He certainly doesn't make it past the Hall of Famers that played in the 80s. So, and McDavid. And how are we missing out on Draisaitl? Well, it's a pretty tough list to crack. So that would be my list. It would go Gretzky, McDavid, Messier, Coffee, Fuhr. That would be my top 5.
I like it. And 1 through 10, I think it'll be mostly the same names, but the order is going to change. And, I'm intrigued by the later ones. Who's going to slide in at, number 93 or whatever it might be. It's going to be something to follow along with. Well, Spec, thanks so much for doing this today. We'll talk to you tomorrow when Gregor returns.
All right. Thanks, Connor.
There you go. Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet joining us for the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. They're hiring. gsconstruction.ca. Getting a lot of texts rolling in here. We're talking wrestling. We're talking Blue Jays. We're talking Elks, quarterback situation. We'll get to all that and more. More of your top 5 Oilers as well, all time. Let us know. 1-833-441-1440. We'll get to the Oil Report next. This is the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Josh Fenwick with you here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X, brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
No, another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999. It's the Bricks Price Meltdown. Score hot summer savings like up to 40% off mattresses and a 10% instant credit towards sleep accessories. Save up to $900 off sofas and sectionals, and up to 25% off bedroom and dining packages. Plus, buy more, save more on select major kitchen appliances, up to $500 off. Even more, find hot prices on Canadian-made pieces and get up to 15% off patio furniture. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Hey everybody, it's Gene Principe, the Prince of Puns, and I've got something that definitely will float your boat. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from LA and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one haul of a trip. Prices start at just $23.99, and part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Call and save $200 when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. Cast Tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's annual classic and collector timed auction is this Saturday at 10 a.m. Featuring vehicles from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, including sedans, coupes, muscle cars, restoration projects, and custom cars and trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
It's road trip season, and that means loading up on the road trip essentials like snacks, tunes, and Hondas. Sherwood Honda has fuel-efficient, dependable SUVs, hybrids, crossovers, and more to take you up, down, and all around this province and beyond. Travel in comfort and safety, going where you want to go, when you want to go, stopping to see whatever catches your imagination on the way. Summer road trips make memories that sure would last. Start yours off right at Sherwood Honda.
Mitchell Allen Auctioneering's annual classic and collector timed auction is this Saturday at 10 a.m. Featuring 1968 Ford Mustang 302 convertible and 1941 Chev 1573 pickup, plus many more classic collector and vintage vehicles to choose from. Info at maauctions.com.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Calling all cheddar lovers, try Papa John's new cheddar crust one-topping pizza for only $17.99. Order online at papajohns.ca or through the Papa John's app.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Josh Fenwick with you here. Sitting in for Jason. He will be back tomorrow as we wrap up the week. It'll be a game day edition of the show tomorrow with the Elks taking on the Rough Riders out in Saskatchewan. Actually, Declan, you won't be on the program. You'll be heading out there. So that means Fenwick will be covering you on the lowdown, I believe. No, Donovan. And then Donovan will do the digital side of things for the Gregor Show.
I'm pretty sure Josh is going to be here for the lowdown. He didn't know what he was talking about.
Oh, wow.
But
Confusion.
Donovan will be running the stream tomorrow here in the Gregor Show.
We're in good hands for certain. Lots of text rolling in here, 1-833-401-1440. Let's get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. Discovery Day sale event, it's on now. You can lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $7,500. But only 1 week left to get this deal. Great vehicles, better service, only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. Gregor drove past me last week in his Volvo, looking quite nice on the road. Go check it out. The oil report. Let's talk a little bit about the top five because it's a good idea. And it might be kind of anticlimactic when they get to it, like they do two, and then there's like a big hype thing. Who's going to be number one? Obviously, it's going to be Wayne Gretzky. Deck, I got to have McDavid in my list. You can't go without Messier. You have to have coffee. Is it? I think it's going to be Curry, and then I think in your next five will have your Draisaitl, and then the other guys.
I think my order would be. Am I cool to get my order?
100%. I want it.
I would go Gretzky 1, Messier 2, McDavid 3, Coffee 4, Yari Curry 5.
So we've got the same five.
Yeah. Order differs. And then my honorable mentions would like Leon, obviously. Grant Fuhr would be an honorable mention for me. Darcy Hordachuk as a personal pick would sneak in there. But I think that's probably the list.
I think the best thing to come from this is we're gonna get a reminder of just random obscure Oilers and like that we're good for 1 or 2 years. Like, hey, that guy wasn't too bad. Dr. Phil says, where does Steve Kelly end up on the list? Now, like, where's Mary Strakowski? Where's Andrei Kovalenko? Will that generation be represented?
A legitimate question is how like Ryan Smith gets viewed. You know what I mean? Ales Hemsky too is another guy you could throw in that ilk.
Yeah, 100%. Matt texting that in. Ryan Smith, top 10. Okay. So we got our top five. Then we got Fear. I mean, Smitty was the heart and soul of the team.
Where do you put a guy like Pronger, who was only here for one season, but was, obviously an incredible player?
Like he pulled the Kawhi, but they didn't win.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting.
And does winning one game sway you that much? Yeah, it does, because it was the Stanley Cup was the game. I don't know if I have Smitty in my top 10. It's tough. And like Doug Weight. Doug Weight would be high up there.
Yeah.
Marty Reisner, Nathan Walker. These are the names coming in here from Crotch and Matt. It's a really cool concept. I'm curious, when they do this list, not to be ageist, but a lot of their writers at Oilers Nation are young cats, younger guys, 30 or under. So will they reach out to, say, a Low Tide, a Spec, Maddie, Gregor, I mean, guys who have, got a chance to see these Dynasty Oiler teams. I'm intrigued by it. Who comes in at number 100? Like if you were betting, who's number 100?
Wow.
Eric Brewer.
That's a really good question. Who comes in at number 100? I'm going to say Radek Dvorak.
Devo. Good pick.
Elite pull.
UC Markkinen. Smitty, not top 10. You're dead to me, Connor, from Playbook Vic. He says he's just kidding. Okay, well, let's think about it. Gretz, Mess, McDavid, Coffey, Fuhr, Draisaitl. Could you do Pronger?
Glenn Anderson.
Charlie
Charlie Huddy. Esa Tikkanen. I think a lot of people would put Nuge over Ryan Smith.
Yeah, I mean, the points list will say that. All right, here we go. I'm putting Smitty at 10. And then I'll work around that. So Smitty's top 10, but he's 10. Semenko, Mikhail Stalinkov. I don't even remember him. That's a name drop on me. Sam Gagner. Sam Gagner from Matt. Where does he go in this top 100? Is he top 50?
No, is he?
Is he top 75?
That seems more reasonable.
Who's higher, Hemsky or Gagner?
I feel like Hemsky was a much better player.
Yeah. Facts.
But I mean, that's not necessarily the question. The question is best oil. I'm really excited to see what they come up with. I'm also really excited to see who all collaborates on this list.
That's what I'm saying too. If it's all young guys, maybe it's different. No name here. Please send in your name. Glenn Anderson and Cujo should probably be top 10. Glenn Anderson for sure. Cujo was great. Cujo was great on those teams. Got us helped get the win over Dallas.
Bill Ranford.
Todd Marchand. Tommy Sallow.
Dwayne Rollison.
Rolly the goalie. Gyro says Nuge over Smitty. Give your head a shake. Now we got to look at the numbers. Do you have the Oilers points?
I don't, but I'll pull it up here.
Your computer probably faster than mine, but I'm going to also try to bring it up here. So when it comes down to greatest Oilers, Nuge has 748 points in 959 games played. So he has 12 less games played than Smitty right now and 117 more points. Different eras, of course. Remember that. But something to put out there.
Jordan Eberle is 15th all time in Oilers points.
Yeah, one behind Kevin Lowe. In half the games. That's
pretty shocking.
Like
Darnell Nurse is 22nd.
Yeah. Sean Horkoff, we're the C for the oil.
Yeah.
Taylor Hall. Where does Taylor Hall go? It's going to be fun. Can a guy like Zach Hyman, I think he cracks the top 100 probably pretty easily at 50 goals. But how high up? Evan Bouchard. Yanni Nienema is top 35 in points. Lee Fogelin going back. Tom Gilbert. Clefbaum. Beloved by Oilers Nation.
When he comes at 16, we're gonna have to have a talk with the Oilers Nation boys.
We're gonna get them on the show and discuss what went into this one. What about tough guys? Yeah, and
here's the thing:
Playbook Vic really likes Ryan Smith. I just want to put that out there.
Nothing about George Larocque's career would suggest he's a top 100 player ever, but you feel like he is undoubtedly a top 100 Oiler.
Oh yeah,
right.
How much does like that weigh into it? Is it just point production? No, it's got to be more than that. Effectiveness, like a shutdown D-man's not going to put up a lot of points. Zdeno Cigar, Miro Satan, Dave Manson. Love Dave Manson as an Oiler. JC, thanks for the text. We're going to add you to the system here. Eric Belanger, Jordan. Oh, I don't know. Mark says, gentlemen, Captain Canada Ryan Smith has to be top 10. I don't know. I have him at 10. I'm going to put him in potential to go higher. But right now I have him at 10.
Can we make a top 10 right now? Me and you together?
I got my notepad here. So we're unanimous. Kretz is 1.
Yeah.
2, Messier?
Sure. Yeah. I'm not as concerned with the numbers as just getting 10 names we agree on down.
I'm a perfectionist. 3, we're going McDavid.
I'm cool with that.
4.
I would probably say Yari Curry.
Okay, we'll put him there.
No, sorry, I'd say Paul Coffey 4.
Too late. I wrote it down.
That's fine.
But Coffey's at 5.
Okay, so we got 5.
So we need 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Dry, I feel like has to be in there.
Okay, we'll just go with names. Dry, yes. Glenn Anderson?
Yeah, for sure. So now we're up to 7. Are you putting Charlie Huddy in there?
I mean, do I want to fire people up and say Kevin Lowe?
Yeah. Because now it's really a debate. Because now I feel like you got Smith, Waite, Hemsky, Horkoff, Tikkanen, Kevin Lowe, Charlie Huddy, Cujo. We didn't even say Grant Fuhr or Bill Ranford yet.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Fuhr's got to get in there. That's a lock. So we have 2 spots open now, 9 and 10. I am very comfortable penciling Smitty in at 10. And if you want to tell me someone from the dynasty goes in there, sure. Maybe someone says Chris Pronger for what he did. Okay, but I'm gonna keep Smitty at 10. That's my official prediction.
Okay.
Robbie says Smith above Waite and Hemsky. Steven St. Albert says Doug Waite ahead of Ryan Smith. Doug Waite was great. I loved him because he could do it all. He could score goals. He could set it up. And if he had to throw an elbow on someone, he could do that too. Earn definite points with me. Tommy Sallow. Dallas says Skinner. I think we're talking Stu. Question.
No, what? Stuart Skinner? Top 10?
Not top 10. No. Could he be top?
He'd be
100?
He'd be top 100. Let's be real here. Well, actually, now that I say that out loud,
I think so. 2 Stanley Cup Finals. You gotta give him a little love. Kamal says, question, what's the total number of players who have donned an Oilers jersey in an NHL game? Curious, as we talk about top 100, European soccer provides a legacy to their players, a legacy number. I don't know how many players have played in an Oilers uniform. You have to go look at the all-time roster because there's definitely guys who get called up for 1-2 games, get sent back down. Have to have Bucky on the list, 100%. Have we not mentioned Andy Moog?
No.
Okay, well, he's definitely there too.
Now I'm starting to feel like Ryan Smith is in top 10.
There's a generation of Oilers fans, and Ryan Smith was all we had. That's not actually true, but he was like the heart and soul of the team. He was such a big part of it. Jason Arnott. I love Jason Arnott. My first ever Oilers jersey had number 7 on it because I was a big Arnott fan. Shane Corson. First captain for me, becoming an Oilers fan, early 90s. I think it was just 1 year. I don't know if he'll make it. I feel like he was kind of polarizing for Oilers fans. Nathan says, here's how you whittle it down, boys. You pick the best Oiler to wear each jersey number. Some guys get it by default. Mike Greer, Rafi Torres. Yeah, probably bottom 50 guys, but I think they'd be in there. Steven St. Albert says, with consistency and long time serving, I would take Nuge ahead of Smitty.
I kind of almost feel the same way.
Jeff says, Nuge and Smitty at 9 and 10. So if we did that, if that's how we rounded it out, we'd have our top 10 in no particular order, but a little order. Gretz, Mess, McDavid, Curry, Coffey, Draisaitl, Anderson, Fuhr, Nuge, and Ryan Smith. Jason Smith, give me him like 30 to 50, maybe higher. I loved Gator. Super tough. Made you pay along the boards. Where's Mac T in all this? One of our captains, who's also our coach for 9 years and served as GM. Yeah, and I mean, does that evolve onto working for the Oilers after the fact? Because Kevin Lowe also coached GM, did a lot of roles with the organization. He's high up too. Can't forget Struddy, says Darren. You can't forget Struddy. One of the best. Maybe, I don't know every Oiler, but I'd say maybe the nicest Oiler. Yeah, it's a really good discussion. Keep those rolling in 1-833-401-1440. If you have your locks at like the top 5, top 6, who do you think could belong in the top 10 Oilers of all time? We'll get to that when we return. It is the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in for Jason. He'll be back tomorrow. We got Declan and Josh here as well. You're listening on Sports 1440 or wherever you're streaming from and watching YouTube, Facebook, X. We'll be back right after the break. It's the Jason Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
McDonald's Sundays and snack-size shakes are $2 or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's annual Classic and Collector Timed Auction is this Saturday at 10 a.m. Featuring vehicles from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, including sedans, coupes, muscle cars, restoration projects, and custom cars and trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
For all things golf carts, it's the Golf Cart people. Their certified techs provide expert service from maintenance to custom upgrades. Customers can explore the sales floor for new and used Club Car, Yamaha, and E-Z-Go models. The Golf Cart people stock a wide variety of parts and accessories to keep every ride in top shape and offer convenient rentals for tournaments, weddings, and festivals. Trusted for sales, service, parts, accessories, and rentals since 1997. Visit the Golf Cart people at golfcartpeople.com, your complete golf cart solution.
McDonald's Sundays and snack-size shakes are $2 or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
The dog days of summer means baseball. Every weekend, Sports 1440 carries Toronto Blue Jays ball games. Ben Shulman will have the call. Grab a cold one and tune in this weekend to Blue Jays baseball on Sports 1440.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the 2 best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's annual Classic and Collector Timed Auction is this Saturday at 10 a.m. Featuring 1968 Chev Camaro SS, 1980 Chev C10 Short Box, plus many more classic, collector, and vintage vehicles to choose from. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
And here on the Jason Gregor Show, thank you to everyone who's tuned into the show today, whether it be on the Sports 1440 AM dial or streaming, YouTube, Facebook, X. Hit that like button if you are watching. Connor Halley sitting in for Jason. He'll be back tomorrow. The Jason Gregor Show, as always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight, it is the Daily Grand. You can win $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. That's $7.3 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. Also, use your GameSense. GameSenseAB.ca. Stay within your limits. You can also, if you are making a deposit, use promo code Gregor50 and get a $50 free play. Text line is 1-833-401-1440. We are touching on the Oilers Top 100 that Oilers Nation is going to be doing throughout the summer here. And names you think should be there. And maybe even looking at the top 10, who cracks the list outside of the obvious 6 to 7. Hacksaw says, boys, if we're talking top 10, are we basing this on points or who you think of when you say Oilers? If so, Dave Semenko, top 10. I mean, you just have to talk to any of the Oilers that were playing during the dynasty to tell you the importance of Dave Semenko and, what he freed up for the guys. This guy could play hockey too. And also had a legacy after, was an ambassador, I believe, for the team. So, yeah, big legacy there. I'm curious I don't think he'll crack top 10, but he's got to be higher up in that list. Steven St. Albert says he'd take Joey Moss over Strudwick. I mean, Joey Moss's legacy with the Oilers organization is huge. Very impactful. So if we're counting Joey Moss, I think Struddy would admit that. Probably have him higher up there. Kevin McCullen make the list, top 100, I would think. Matt said, that's from Honest Joe. Matt says Peter Nedved. I liked Peter Nedved. Good player. There's a lot of them out there. We had Josh. He was taking a look. I don't know if you came out with it. He was looking because someone said how many Oilers have played for this team. Now, Josh went to Hockey Reference, looked at the Oilers' all-time roster alphabetically, and calculated it. I don't know if Josh has the number there. Declan, if you want to read it, pass it over to Josh. I don't even know what I would guess. Like, no, over 10,000?
The total number is 12,755. I did the math twice.
12,755.
Why did you have to do math for it though? Like, did you, what do you mean you did the math twice? Did you count that? Like, you didn't just say it there?
He went to Hockey Reference and looked at players. The last name began
so
with
page
A,
by page,
then B, and then multiplied it. Or
okay.
added it, I suppose.
Here's the real question: who's the worst?
Man, I don't want to do that negativity.
You're right. Positive Thursday.
Positive Thursday. So Jeff's saying, okay, like if you were to open up top 5 Oilers, not just players. Once an Oiler, always an Oiler. Coaches, management. Joey Moss. Jeff says he's top 5. Adam says, I know he's not a player, but for GM, Glenn Sather. Yeah, like if you open it up, I mean, the guy who put it all together and coached, like Glenn Sather would have to get a lot of love. Slots was huge for the organization. Nathan texting his top 10. Gretzky, McDavid, Draisaitl, Messier, Coffey, Curry, Waite, Smith, Fear, and Bill Ranford. So that changes ours.
That didn't have Glenn Anderson in it.
No Anderson and no Nuge. Nuge we just kind of threw in there, but
Glenn Anderson to me feels like he's got to be there. Respect. Glenn Anderson was well over a point per game player while he was here. 900 points with the club. That seems pretty good. Not a math guy, but that seems pretty good.
Yeah. Numbers don't lie, right? Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Like that almost gets him like locked into the top 10, I would think. 2008 inductee. But again, didn't see him. So if somebody who saw him play were to tell me, nah, you can't have in the top 10. All right. There's 30 businessmen that belong on this list. Oh, Brad, good pull.
I got
the organization. Sorry?
I got a fun one for you, Connor. Which goalie has the highest save percentage with at least 100 games played?
Is it like a trick question?
No, but you might be surprised at the answer, but I wouldn't say it's a trick question.
Mikko Koskinen.
It is Cam Talbot.
Cam Talbot, okay. He got them to the playoffs in 2016-17, I think.
Yeah.
I know.
Interesting. Mike Smith actually has a higher save percentage, but he only played 99 games.
Oh, technicality.
I got a really fun one here for you as well. Can you name the top 2 goaltenders with the best GAA with at least 100 games played?
No.
Number 1, Tommy Salo.
All right.
Number 2, Stuart Skinner.
Stu and Salo. Man, I don't know if you guys remember the 2002 Olympics when Sweden lost to Belarus, but Tommy Salo let that goal in off his helmet, and I want to say it changed him a little bit. Like just he wasn't quite the same coming back from that one. Kind of made an easier path for Canada the gold medal game. Instead of having to play Sweden, who beat them in the first game, they got to play Belarus, who, well, not quite a hockey powerhouse. Kamal says, thanks, Josh, for getting that total number. Yeah, we put the intern to work. He's got to do those things. Dave from Stony, is Gaten Haas in there? I got to say no. I got to drop the line somewhere. I think that's it. Darren says, if you're going to open it up to non-players, Rod Phillips. Oh, yeah, legendary voice of the team, for sure. If you're doing it up to, management, players, things, people involved with the organization. Yeah, great voice. Brad says Corey Cross. Tobias Reeder, Mira Satan, Stoff, top 12. Esa Tikkanen, top 10 Europeans. Matt, I see your text. I just can't confirm that. Robbie Shrimp, friend of the show. Always good to have Rob join us on the program. What a skilled player he was. Probably is. I don't think that skill goes away. Probably still has it. Going back here, we had a good text in just regarding quarterback play. I want to see if I can find it. I want to see this from Gord. I'm not an educated football analyst, but to this untrained eye, Trey Ford is not and will not be a starting quarterback. He's exciting to watch, but that's where it ends. He makes an excellent backup quarterback who can change the complexion of a game if you give him a different look when you're behind. From all the quarterbacks I've seen in Edmonton and the CFL, Trey Ford is not starting quarterback and never will be. I would bet my money on that. Mark my words. Yeah, well, I mean, I still think you need to improve from the pocket. The running could be maybe in case of emergency, although he's just so dynamic. You got to have some designed runs for a guy with that skill set. I don't want to rule it out. I don't want to say he never can. There's just, I think, improved touch on the deep passes and things of that nature would go a long way. We also talked about some of the top wrestlers of all time and some good ones coming in here. Matt Leduc says, Hulk's influence on wrestling, undisputed, but his acting career, kind of rocky. Yeah, he was in Rocky. Thunderlips? Yeah, he did it. Manny says, my generation of TV wrestlers, Andre the Giant, Haystack Calhoun, and the range of ethnically costumed heels. Yeah, they really did utilize that, didn't they? I think you've seen that in a few documentaries. Jake the Snake, Razor Ramon, the Bash Brothers, Superfly, Snuka, Austin and Flin Flon says John Cena's entrance music or Eddie Guerrero. George the Animal from Nooch in Camrose. And then Yokozuna. Yeah, Yokozuna was cool. He wasn't Japanese, but they portrayed him that way. Rhino the Boilermaker says Peter Pocklington. Yeah, he'll get some hate, but credit where it's due. Mike Comrie. Ooh, that's a good one for top 100. That's a good one. Mark Lamb. Yeah. Fernando Pisani, of course. Steve, good drop. Jordan says, I think Trey Ford needs to stop dressing like a punter. That might help. A little swag never hurt. What does he wear? He's t-shirt underneath with a wristband. What do you think for more swag? 2 wristbands? Maybe a sleeve? I think the sleeve look is pretty cool in football.
Visor.
Visor?
Gotta have the visor. That's the swaggiest thing a player can do. But here's the thing, man. I don't really need to talk about swag for my quarterback. I'd rather talk about wins, what they can do on the field. Swag's cool, but come on now. Let's stick to the plot.
I like a little swag. There's a time where I thought like the Blue Jays were the least least tilt fill team. Got a little bit more of that. Vlad Guerrero Jr. How about that? Nice little double. Jays tie it up. George Springer scores from first. 1-1 in Detroit in the top of the 6th. Boris Mironov from Kent. Yeah, Bobo was sick. Peter Klima from Steve. We also have Dallas saying, let's not pretend that Gretzky didn't want to be traded. Easy to blame Peter. He was doing what Gretzky wanted, plain as day. Well, yeah, I mean, there was the talk. For my time, I think it was at like Molson House, and they had said, if you want to stop this trade, we will. Pocklington had said that, and at that point, it was too late. It was like, nope, let's just make it happen. Nonetheless, though, I mean, obviously Wayne Gretzky, undisputed number one on the list in this one. But hey, we'll see what happens. Very intriguing, good concept. Marty McSorley from Steve. Yes, Marty McSorley was fantastic and a great hockey mind. Really fun to listen to when he joins us on the program. A big thank you to all of our guests today. Justin Duncan, 3 Down Nation. Of course, we had a little Thirsty Thursday with David Owens from Sherbrooke Liquor. Terry Ryan, Zach Pearson with the Bears. We talked Zach Lang, Oilers Nation. And Mark Spector. All you guys as well, thank you so much for tuning in. It is appreciated. Check the podcast if you missed anything. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all over again. We'll have Carrie's Fantasy Frenzy, Low Tide, and then Gregor back from 2 till 6 to wrap up the week. Right now, let's get to one final score. It's 14:40 update. Quickly, though, big thank you to Declan and Josh. Killed it on the other side. This update brought to you by eWell. Score with your power play partners at eWell. Get all of your electrical needs at ewell.ca with 24/7 ordering and shipping in Edmonton and across Alberta. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
One final time from me tonight. Justice Maria Carocha did deliver her verdict on the sexual assault case against the 2018 World Junior Team members. All 5 players found not guilty and acquitted of all charges. Elks news, Cody Fajardo will be the starting quarterback tomorrow for the Elks as they're in Saskatchewan to take on the Rough Riders. Fullback Tanner Green, a game-time decision. Jake Ceresna good to go. Week 8 kicks off tonight with the Alouettes traveling to McMahon to take on the Stamps. MBT getting the start in that one. In the MLB, Jays and Tigers currently tied 1-1 in the top of the 6th. Padres lead the Cards 2-0 in the middle of the first. And the Orioles beat the Guardians earlier today 4-3. Riverhawks in action tonight. They're trying to avoid the sweep in Wenatchee as they take on the Apple Sox. NFL news is Jets quarterback Justin Fields was carted off the field after suffering a non-contact injury in practice today. He is expected to be ready for week 1 with a toe injury. And finally, wrestling icon Hulk Hogan has passed away at the age of 71. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. On behalf of Connor Halley and Josh Fenwick, I'm Declan Kruger. Fox Sports Radio is up next. The Kevin Carrier Show resumes for local coverage at 7 a.m. And this has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free